been a long time coming. You have to go back to 1999 for the last Origin match.
State football, South Australia up against Victoria.
And even further back to 1992 when WA last took on Victoria.
Comprehensive victory for Victoria.
But now, the best players will once again fight for state pride. The 2026 AFL State of Origin.
Gunston starts it out to the right, brings it back, and brings back home. Leans back from 40, and Mitch Georgiades has a handful. Keeps it moving, over the way of Max Holmes. Max reward. Smith goes long towards goal, and that'll do it. Bailey Smith, he'll want the cameras on him right now.
State versus state. Mate versus mate.
Centre circles, he'll kick it inside forward. 50, massive boy, Tom Barris.
Runs by McCluggage, two-step, shoot, another goal.
Half forward intended for Bold, he was chopped off initially. Bold went back and got it, spun out of trouble, kick on goal. Oh, he's brilliant, this guy. He comes to Dangerfield, he's been everywhere. He gets his second.
Welcome to the 2026 AFL State of Origin. Western Australia versus Victoria. Live from Perth Stadium.
It's a rivalry that has been a ghost. The Big V and the Black Swan have been locked in a draw for near 3 decades, and they are back out tonight as the players represent the dirt that they grew up on, the constellation of stars in the Victorian team, unstoppable on paper. Well, the Sandgropers are hoping to tear that paper up tonight here at Perth Stadium. A sold-out crowd cannot wait for what is in front of us as Origin football returns. For the first time this century, it is Western Australia and Victoria right here on ABC Sport. My name's Corbin Middlemas. It's a huge thrill to be here for this. We haven't had a game between these two teams since the early 90s. You have to go back to 91, the last time that they played in these parts. And the West Australians are hanging out for it. And we're going to get a partisan crowd tonight. There's stars everywhere you look for both teams, and we've got ample time to work our way through it. A solid dance card. The Chief Executive of the AFL, Andrew Dillon's going to join us. We'll head inside both camps with the Vics and with the West Aussies. Clint Wheeldon's here to call the footy with me. Wheelie, I know you're a big state football lover. And here it is. We're back, February 14, 2026.
And it started, of course, State of Origin football with, whether it be rugby league or Australian football, with a battle between WA and Victoria right back in 1977. So it's fitting as it returns, I think, that it's these two states who football means so much to that go head-to-head again. Crowd of 60,000 expected. It's been sold out for nearly a month. About 8,000 Victorian fans, we understand, are flying across the country. So there will be plenty of cheers still for the Big V. But I cannot wait to see what unfolds in front of us tonight. I'm absolutely in the camp that the players out there, it's Ridgy-Didge. Speaking to a few people I know about the place, everyone from the WA camp is absolutely desperate to win this game. It might take will versus skill, because that Victorian side, goodness me, I'm with Chris Scott. That is about as good a team as has ever been assembled in Australian football. It is simply remarkable. There's All-Australians everywhere. There's premiership players everywhere. There's Brownlow medalists out there as well. What an evening we've got in front of us.
The weather, you can set your watch to it here in Perth. There's clear blue skies above, and 35 degrees was the forecast top. Expected to drop to the low 30s by the time we get underway. One man who has played in Origin football, he's a Brownlow medalist. Shane Woden is with us tonight on ABC Sport. Wowie, it's great to see you.
Thanks, Corby. Great to be here. Back footy live again. Very exciting. Cricket's done. So, yeah. Can't wait for this. 26 years ago when I last represented in Origin footy and loved it, and it was only my second season, so I was all over it then. It's been sad, really, to be honest. It's taken this long to get going again, and because you only hear it, it's always the players who are invested in what's been the roadblock. So, finally we're back.
Yeah, and as Clint mentioned, this concept in particular, the State of Origin, representing the state in which you live, was really only from 1977 onwards. I mean, a long time in football has been, interleague matches, and the idea is, it's one league versus another. And essentially the history of this is, Victoria, after the war in the 60s, basically attracted all the best talent from around the country to come and play in the VFL. They became too powerful, too strong for everybody else. And midway through the 70s, Leon Larkin, who's got a few shout-outs this week, the the old stalwart, of course, of the Subiaco Football Club, came up with the concept that, hey, let's bring an origin concept into being. And it's hard to think that until the late 70s that wasn't the case. And from 1977 onwards, Victoria and Western Australia met on 19 occasions under that concept. The Vics hold the head-to-head 12-7. But in Perth in particular, which is, you feel like this is where it's at its best. And I can say that as someone that resides in Melbourne nowadays, when it's in enemy territory and the favourites being Victoria and all their star-studded names and everything have to go on the road into enemy territory, the head-to-head falls to 7-7. So Western Australia on level footing, at least in these parts, against the Vics. You did that. So early in your career, you're playing for Melbourne, even though you're a West Australian, and you get the chance to come back and represent WA.
Yep.
Did it mean something to you, knowing that, hey, this is a chance for me to represent where I'm from?
Oh, absolutely. And growing up watching State of Origin footy at Subiaco Oval, the old Subiaco Oval in the time, and representing state was the pinnacle for any footballer at that time too, because the All Island series wasn't that just yet, but you just grew up watching the greats of the game on a Tuesday afternoon, and that's what you want to do. So, and then also to be able to also play against and play with some of the best players in the competition. So, fly home, train for a few sessions or a week, and then fly to South Australia and take on those guys on their home turf. So, one of the highlights of my career.
Toby Green plays with his mate Marcus Bontempelli, a man who he said he would never have a beer with. We've got Zach Merritt being coached by Sam Mitchell as his assistant. You've got Darcy Cameron up against Nick Dacos, Paddy Cripps versus Jacob Wiedering, Zach Butters against his housemate Mitch Georgiades. Some of the dynamics that are on show in this Origin fixture tonight. Let's head down to the front row. Mitch Turner's riding the boundary. Mitch.
Corbin, the atmosphere is absolutely buzzing down here, and the weather has gotten a little nicer in the last 5 minutes. It's about 30 degrees. It was about as high as 35, 36 today, but it does feel a little cooler. It's a little breezy. The starting benches for both sides, for what it's worth. For WA, Stephen Cornelio, Calamar Chi, Lawson Humphries, Trent Rivers, Nathan Broad, Tim English and Jake Waterman. And how's this for Victoria? Zach Merritt, Noah Anderson, the Brownlow medalist Matt Rowell, Ed Richards, Sam Collins, Bailey Smith and Tristan Sherry. That's about as stacked as the two set of benches will ever get, but it's beautiful conditions down here, Corbin. I'd say it's pretty much perfect for football.
If you pick those guys with your first 7 picks in your fantasy team, you'd be stoked. And they're on the bench for Victoria to start this game.
Stiff.
They're about a 3-goal favourite. Tips, a couple of Sandgropers in the house.
Well, it's obviously WA.
Yeah. We'd be mad if we didn't.
I can understand that. You got a tip for us, Clint?
I've never tipped with my heart in my life. My head says it'll be Victoria by about 6 to 8 goals. By the way, toss of the coin. Early win for the Vics. Marcus Bontempelli calling correctly, and they'll be kicking to the city end. That's to the right of our broadcast position, Victoria, in this opening turn.
It's a sight many of us thought we would never see again. And after nearly 3 decades, the wait is over. It's about the jumper you were born to wear. Western Australia versus Victoria on ABC Sport. You're with Clint Wheeldon.
Origin's back, and Darcy Cameron wins it down for WA. Gave it to Cripps, immediately works it forward. Inside the attacking 50, the kick comes for the West Australians. No one can pick it up immediately. Looking to burst his way through. Pickett got a hand pass to no one in particular. Georgiades out after it. Can't quite gather. Flicked it out to O'Meara at right half forward. Here's Baker. Sends it towards right, full forward. Mark juggled across the line. Hogan thought he was being held, not to be.
Mark was dropped too.
It's been dropped and spilt then by Victoria's battle. So it's going to be a throw-in. Deep at right, full forward for WA. No score, opening 35 seconds. Cameron again won it down. It spills here. First goal goes the way of WA. Warner. He had it in the right forward pocket, threw it on the boots. And WA strike first against Victoria. Just what the home side were hoping for. 1 straight 6. Victoria yet to score. 60 seconds gone.
Good feeling early. They're up and about, were they?
Certainly up and
Very
about.
exciting.
Lots of emotion there from Warner as soon as he saw it go through the big sticks. An interesting start. Brad Hill starting back behind the ball in half back. He's starting in the wing, but is immediately dropping back. So interesting to see that tactic.
How about that for a stat line? 7 disposals to zip. First 7 disposals of the game for the home team, and Chad Warner
A couple of really big, strong efforts from Cozzy Pickett to start the game as well, coming through contests.
Warner kicks the first. WA on the board before Victoria have had a touch. Darcy Cameron wins it down. Cripps, hand pass away towards his teammate in Jackson. He flares it out wide to the wing. Collected by O'Meara. Gives it back to Jackson. Hand pass away to Baker. Tumbles a kick to half forward. Still no Victorian touch. Hitting up. Gunston. Hand pass away to O'Meara. Kick to the goal line. It's marked by Hogan. Hogan on the goal line. And this will be 15 disposals to zip. And it'll be 2 goals to nothing. What a start for the home team.
Luke Jackson as a mid, influential early, getting his hands on it. Darcy Cameron getting his hands on it.
Jackson as well. Hot.
Death and tax is less of a sure thing from there. And Hogan's got them running wild at Perth Stadium. 2 goals for WA before Victoria have touched the ball. 12 points WA's lead, 3 minutes in. Origin footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner on the boundary.
Oh, Jesse Hogan was lining up for that goal. There was a fair bit going on at the top of the 50. If people think this doesn't mean anything, they want to have another look. Players getting into each other. Luke Jackson going after Max Gawn, his former premiership teammate, the highlight as well.
What a start. Sharrod Wellingham and Shane Woden shades of 77 where WA punked Victoria. I think they kicked 6 unanswered goals in the opening term. Amazing.
To not have had their hands on it is very surprising, and it's come from clear ruck dominance from Cameron, hasn't it?
They put Sarong into the middle, replacing Dangerfield. Victoria. WA will win the centre clearance again. Down from Darcy Cameron to Cripps. Kicks towards centre half forward. Pick it underneath it, doesn't get it. Taken then by Bolton, got tackled. But a hand pass away. They'll take the advantage here. Free kick went Victoria's way. Came to Sarong on the northern wing. Kicked towards centre half forward. Green was there. Spoil came at the back from Clark. Spilled to Gawn to the Vicks. Worked it forward to McCluggage. Now back to Green. Goes long for Victoria into the goal square. Ball kept in play. It's still there to be won. Barris gathers hard up against the behind line. And then he's wrapped up in a strong tackle. We're going to ball it up. First inside forward 50 for Victoria. First run of possessions as well. Gunston was lurking. One down by Darcy. It's gone across the boundary line. It's a free kick being spotted here. It's coming back towards Lobb. So Lobb has the awkward job on his teammate in Darcy. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Wiedering up against O'Meara. Neither could mark. Georgiades gathers. He's taken across the boundary line for a throw-in. Right half back for WA. They've kicked the opening 2 goals. They're 2 straight 12. Victoria yet to score. 4.5 gone in the first. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
What a stunning start. First 15 disposals, first 2 goals for WA. And that is the margin, as Clint said, as Cameron palms it down towards Bolton, who bursts his way through. Hand pass to Pickett, slaps it back out in front of Bolton. Turns, kicks inside 50 for WA. Clean bowls a couple. Scooped up by Ash. Hand pass to Victoria to Wiedering. Gives it to Stewart. Kicks wide to Battle. And calms it down at half back. Goes short along the boundary line to Sinclair. The dual All-Australian tries to settle things down for Victoria after getting put back on their heels out of the gates. Short to Ash. Ash heads back to Sinclair, who marks against the boundary line on the outer side. WA by 12.
More controlled here from Victoria. The kick towards left half forward. Here's Dangerfield. Dangerfield immediately wheels around. Kicks inside forward 50. Out to mark Darcy. Or beg your pardon, coming from the other side, it was King. So Ben King, who this time was on Lobb. Lobb in the front position. And King able to mark.
There's that for Western Australia. This is the ability to bring Bolton, Pickett up from forward half, in and around stoppage and get through. And nearly there too. Good mark by King. It's too strong.
3-time leading goal kicker for the Suns, Ben King, looking to put Victoria on the scoreboard. 40 metres out, 45-degree angle to the left, and he kicks the goal. The Vicks are on the board. And it comes at the 6-minute mark of the opening term. WA 2 straight 12, Victoria 1 straight 6. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
Well, that wasn't flash and fast. It was controlled and measured from Victoria there. Just grafted their way down the ground. I thought that the kick from Dangerfield was to a dangerous spot. Let the guys in the forward 50 get to work, and it's exactly what we saw. Like you said, King just too strong in the contest there against Lobb. I don't think it's the type of football we're going to see all day, that slow and measured. I think we will see some fast football, but for them to be able to employ that when needed, just to take a little bit of pressure out of the game after not being able to get their hands on it.
Grant from Waterloo off the SMS. Top build up. Great to have State of Origin back. Go the Sandgropers. Thanks, Grant. 6-point margin here. WA on top early. Anderson out of the middle. First disposal for the Vics. Hand pass away to Sarong. Turns and kicks Victoria inside 50. Lob spoils it, but to a dangerous spot. Broad getting back. Rushes the behind. Says that's all okay in the first minor of the game. So 2 straight WA. Victoria 1-1. 7 minutes into Origin. Incredibly, for the first time this century, we're back in Origin footy.
Clark with Docker with a long kick for WA out towards right half back. Travels the group of players there, and then Cripps had it, strongly tackled. That was wrapped up by Rao. The ball jars free. Chance to go forward again here. Sarong with it. Sends it into the left forward pocket. It's a beautifully weighted kick. He's going through to take the mark. Victoria with an opportunity to go back and have a shot here from Max Holmes. He's got a new do.
He does.
Just caught me out a little bit. Where are the flowing locks gone, Max?
The short back and sides for the new season.
It's gone the very conservative look for Origin footy and for 2026. Here he comes from beyond 50, hard up against the boundary. Max Holmes looking to put Victoria in front. It's across the face and punched through by WA for a rush behind. 1-2-8 Victoria, 2 straight 12 WA. The Black Swans still in front, 8 and a bit gone in the first.
Geordie Clark, short kick to Baker. Hand pass back to Clark. Kicks WA out of defence. Hands on it, but no mark completed there by Archie, and the ball spills out of bounds. Richard sees it over for the Vics. So boundary throwing, 8.5 minutes gone in this opening term. 2 straight to 1-2. WA kicked 2 goals before Victoria touched the ball, and now the Vics with the last 3 scores, still trailed by 4 points. And the boundary throwing, Merritt, first disposal for Victoria. Hand pass inside to Richards. Runs, carries, honours the lead of Dangerfield, who hits up in characteristic fashion, but spills the mark. Out of bounds it goes on the 50. And it's worth remembering too, there might be a little rust out there. First game for a lot of these guys, some of them since last August.
Going to get better delivery than that.
No.
Seems to have settled Victoria too now, haven't they? 8 or 9 minutes in.
Yep. Thrown back in, Sherry. Goes down the ground. Bouncing the way of WA's Jackson. Got it back to Cornelio. Kick was smothered. It's gone out of bounds. On the bounce, though. So a throw in right half back for WA. Jackson stands alongside Bailey Smith. Moves across. Gets himself into a position to receive the footy. It's one down again by Sherry. Came to Smith. Immediately inside forward 50. Merritt. King couldn't mark. He spills it. Barris is able to pick it up. Here's a chance for WA. Making a bounce, Cornelio, looking to switch play in the direction of O'Meara. One of his best mates, he gathers for WA at left half back and moves it short to Hogan, who has it about a metre in from the boundary. WA lead by 4 points, 10 gone opening term. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
Hogan, the only Coleman medalist in the game, kicks down the wing, and that's a neat mark. Archie leaps up and plucks it overhead. Now tries to shake the man on the mark in Hardwick. Kicks inside 50. Bolton caught at the back, and Richards takes the intercept mark with his red hair standing out in the sunshine. Goes back and across to Holmes. Short kick to his Geelong teammate for Bailey Smith, who's copying the jeers. Hands it back to Holmes. Kicks out wide for Sherry. Marks. Hand pass away to Merritt. Short kick along the boundary line. Finds Gunston. A wiry veteran. Pokes it further afield to Ash. Good ball movement by the Vics. Another short kick to Nick Dacos. Mixed response from the champion from Collingwood. Kicks inside 50. Seat comes out from underneath Toby Green, and he's paid a free kick. After the awkward landing, had his arms chopped in all of that. And the Giants skipper will have a look at centre half forward from about 45 out.
It was a really awkward landing, wasn't it? It was a strange jump. It's like he didn't really get up off the ground.
Jeez, not a heap in it.
Not a lot in that.
No. I think because of the landing, it sort of made it look worse than it was, and in the end they penalised Lawson Humphries for a hand across his left shoulder. Toby Green in the number 1, ordinarily reserved for the skipper. His drop punt sails goalward. He squeezes it through. A lead change, number 1. Vics on top, 2-2 to 2 straight, a dozen minutes in. This is Origin on ABC Sport.
Been good by foot, haven't they? Back half.
Ability to carve up and graft it down the open side of the ground has been really evident. You have to admire the skill level at the moment. Like, there's been a couple of dropped marks, but the delivery and you know, the way both sides have been able to dispose the footy by hand and foot has been exceptional.
Think about even when you watch the first few rounds of the AFL season, everyone's getting their footy legs underneath them, and you're used to, you know, the skill level not being at its usual high quality, but
not with these guys.
have not missed a beat.
We'll match him a lot earlier now at AFL clubs, I believe, anyway.
Oh, from day one almost.
Yeah.
Here's the restart. Ball up. Sure, he got the more telling tap, but it went down to Cornelio. Gave it immediately to Warner. Kicks WA towards centre half forward. Stewart tries to punch. Didn't quite get there. Richards soccers it off the ground. Sends it towards the southern wing. It's bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And it will roll over. Here's the new rule in effect. Free kick to WA. Taken immediately. Hill works it on to English. Kicks inside forward 50. Ash is back there. Went through Collins' hands. Works it to Sherry for the Vicks. Now to Stewart. Deep in the left back pocket. We'll send it towards the southern wing, and that's a good mark. Coming out, Gunston. He's got it just shy of centre wing. Moves it inboard. Butters shares it with Dacos. Back to Butters. Takes a bounce. Runs into the centre square. Stepped around Charlie Cameron. Ran straight at Norton. Got dispossessed. Here is Charlie. Takes a bounce. Runs for 45 outs. Listen to the crowd. Those country roads.
Oh, and it's on in the middle.
Home, and it is back in the middle again for a real ding-dong battle. It's on right now as both sets of players, they get stuck in. And the DJ does the righty by everyone at Perth Stadium. WA 3 straight 18. Victoria 2-2 14. 13 going in the first.
I believe it was Jackson who went straight up to Butters and let him know about his little muck-up, which turned into a goal against. There's definitely fire out there.
He takes that jukebox with him, I think, wherever he goes. Charlie Cameron, Mitch Turner on the boundary.
And as you mentioned before, Corby, Mitch Georgiades, housemate of Zach Butters. When Butters and Jackson went at it, Mitch was more than happy to jump in and take on his housemate as well. So there's a bit of feeling in it.
One of the great things about Origin, those relationships, and as the slogan always goes, mate against mate, certainly on display there. So lead change number 2, WA back on top by less than a goal. Bontempelli to Dacos, hand pass to Butters, kicks inside 50, juggled effort, King's got it. Outpoints Lob in the one-on-one, and Ben King will have a look, 45-degree angle, 30 out.
That's twice now. Lob's been bodied. How were the hands inside there from Big V?
I think Lob's positioning is just a little bit proactive, trying to stay in front of King, and I don't think that he can
keeps up his back
work behind him quick enough.
He was the last man into this Victorian team, came in for the injured Jeremy Cameron, but on Valentine's Day, he might be Victoria's secret. Ben King's got 2 in the opening term, and we have our third lead change. The Vicks by 2 points, 3-2 to 3 straight. Origin footy on ABC Sport, 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
You mentioned the hands, slick hands.
Yeah, Bont, Dacos, and out. Yeah, real clean. Centre bounce, prolific. If you're really good there, just gives your front half a big opportunity. But as you said there too, King again, bodied out. Just see him twice now, even from a craft perspective in that first one too. Just gave up his back, just got pushed out. Not a strong enough stance.
He's going to have to change his starting position against a big, strong King.
Yeah, easily pushed.
18 marks to 5 in favour of Victoria. They lead by 2. 16 gone in this opening term. Back in the middle, Gawn got a tap, came down to McCluggage. That looked like a throw. Well, holding the ball, you can take your pick as Warner got him. McCluggage forced to throw it away, and that's going to be 50 with the ball not returned to Warner. And from the middle of the ground, that'll bring him within striking distance. He's right in front. He'll be putting boot to ball from about 45, maybe a little bit closer, out from goal.
Not sure who threw it away, but it was unnecessary, really, wasn't it? Well, the skipper.
Bont.
Well, the skipper hand pass went nowhere near where Warner was, and the whistle had gone. Chad Warner looking for his second. He's right in front. He should have done better and normally would, but he's missed to the right-hand side. A minor score. 1 point ball game. The Vicks 3-2 20. WA 3-1 19.
Kicked the first Origin goal. Chad Warner, first one this century to start the game. And the Vicks hurriedly worked the ball to the wing, but it's knocked out of play, so a throw-in.
Amira got away with that one.
Oh, he did. It was an early check. But I think Gawn may have played for it.
Yeah. The umpires certainly weren't giving him the rub of the green there. He's got to compete with Darcy Cameron here from the boundary throw-in. Gawn wins the hit out. Dangerfield hitting up, attacks it, wins it. Hand pass away to Richards for the Vicks. He gives it to McCluggage, back to Richards. Handball away to the darting run of Sinclair through the middle. Kicks inside the forward 50, leaping for it, Gunston, no mark. Ball hits the deck, slick hands Green to Merritt. Handball to the half-forward flank. Gunston eventually controls the footy, gives it to Dacos, who's getting jeered, kicks inside 50. Half-volley pick up by the Bont. He's met immediately in a ball up.
They've moved Barras onto King here. Lob's gone to Gunston.
Enjoying the call, Simon from the York Peninsula in South Australia. Out of interest, who selected the teams? Go WA. There was a chairman of selectors for both sides, Glenn Jakovic and Gary Lyon. From the restart, Bontempelli tried a shot on goal, just trickles away. O'Meara waxes with his mate Cornelio, then gives it to Archie. Handball picked off. Dacos wins it for the Vicks. Clever kick. Pulls it back to the skipper, and Bontempelli marks. And it leads me to this next message. Marcus in South Melbourne, even as a Freo tragic, it is a bit rough, the booing of Nick Dacos. State of Origin is back.
That kick was remarkable from Dacos. Almost kicked it off the inside of his foot as like a soccer kick.
Incredibly, still hasn't played 100 games. Nick Dacos, for all he's achieved. Here's the Bont. The Victorian skipper slots it. And Victoria pull ahead. It is a 7-point advantage for Victoria, 4-2 to 3-1. The Vicks' biggest lead of the contest, 19 minutes in. Origin footy on ABC Sport. Sharad Wellingham and Shane Wheeldon.
Have you seen too many players like Nick work in a phone box? His footwork, his ability to get himself out of trouble.
His agility and his ability to shake the would-be tacklers is probably second to none in the whole league, would you say?
Yeah, at such a young age. Well, he's been doing it since he was a kid too, but...
Watch this kick on the replay. He's dropped it almost like a rugby drop kick.
Yeah. He's now polled 98 Brownlow votes in the last 3 seasons. Of course, hasn't won any. So average is almost 33 in that time. It would have won every Brownlow medal bar 6. He's average.
I'm down by Cameron here, but Victoria will get the clearance. Sarong sweeping hand pass to McCluggage. Back to Bontempelli, the most recent goal kicker. Spears it inside forward 50. WA in the right position. They get it through Powell. He'll switch the play out towards left half back. Here's a chance to build up. They turn it over. That was disappointing. Hitting it Ash. Moved it on quickly towards right half forward. Kick inside forward 50 coming from the boot of Max Holmes. Misses its target. Broad is there defensively for WA. He'll move it short to Humphreys, who marks with a 50-metre arc. Almost meets the boundary in the left back pocket. Back to Broad. Kick was needing to be precise, and it was. To Powell, who switches play. Long kick towards the outer wing. O'Meara marks. He's got Baker running by for the overlapping hand pass. That's ignored. Kick goes to Georgiades. He was the WA meeting a Victoria sandwich, and he's landed on a Victorian underneath that who's in immediate trouble. And that doesn't look good. Coming towards it was Wiedering, and Georgiades landed on him really heavily, and Collins was the player in front for Victoria, and he collected him as well, and he's remained down. Oh, dear.
Jeez.
That is 100-odd kilos, 110 kilos coming down on top of you. Rib cage really exposed from Wiedering, with his arm kind of up above his head. That doesn't look comfortable for Wiedering.
He's just winded.
Mitch Turner on the boundary.
Yeah, he doesn't look good from here, guys. You said a huge amount of weight coming down on Jacob Wiedering and hasn't moved a lot out of really kind of short little spasms since he's been on the ground. I'll tell you one thing. This was the concern coming into Origin football this weekend. And when it happened, there was a nervous murmur from the entire stadium here from ground level. Like, you could hear it across the crowd. This is what no one wants to see. So let's hope it's nothing too bad as the medical staff still attend to him. But there was a certain feeling around the ground that happened was, no, this is not what we want.
This is the nature of tackle football. I mean, this is a physical sport. We wanted it to be a ridgy-didge game. I think it's fair to say 21 minutes in, it's that. I think if you were worried and thought it was going to be a glorified all-star game, well, there's plenty of feeling in it. And as you said, Sharad, there's no way to, to simulate what 120 kilos landing on you feels like. And unfortunately for Jacob Wiedering, he's working through the repercussions of that at the moment with the medical staff.
And as bad as this sounds, you do hope that it is just some bruised ribs or something like that that isn't anything to do with his back.
Or worse, his neck.
Yeah.
And the way that Georgiades, who had no knowledge of this because he's had contact come from the front, has put his left arm down and has almost made contact around the neck region of Wiedering. And they are concerned. I saw one of the trainers and the physios out there actually, as they turned him, make sure that Wiedering's neck remained in the neutral position as they moved him across. I'm not sure where Georgiades' arm has exactly landed, but Wiedering remains down on the ground. Mitch Turner downstairs. Mitch?
It's a bit of a delay here. I think obviously they're trying to call for the stretcher and the medical cart. The trainers are out there signalling for it and the doctors. It's been a bit of a delay. Now it's finally coming onto the ground. So Jacob Wiedering will be taken from the ground, you imagine, now by that medical cart. It was a little moment there where Patrick Cripps, obviously a teammate and good friend of Jacob Wiedering, the West Australian captain, he walked over and just stood over Jacob Wiedering for a bit and just checked on him and gave him a bit of a tap on the chest. So enemies today, of course, but Carlton together this season as well. So everyone coming together now from both sides and probably just thinking about Jacob Wiedering before they get stuck back in.
So it was simultaneous, wasn't it? As he hit the ground on his side, Georgiades fell on top of him, and the weight of the pack with the contact that Collins had from the front of the contest. So Wiedering, third man in the queue, and in the end gets sandwiched between the Perth Stadium turf, which doesn't have much given it. That's the ground floor, and then obviously Georgiades on top.
And it wasn't as if Georgiades had anything touch the ground before landing on him. Like, it wasn't his feet, because his legs had kind of been taken out from under him and he was falling almost horizontally straight onto Wiedering.
He's a new father as well, Jacob Wiedering, in the off season. So spoke about this game leading in, about how excited he was to play against his club captain in Patrick Cripps, and obviously this isn't how he envisaged it halfway through this opening quarter, and yet the Medicab, as Mitch said, is out there and tending to him at the moment. So barring something dramatic, this is day done early for Jacob Wiedering.
Yeah.
And this, I mean,
is there the potential that he goes off and has everything checked, and if everything's all okay, is he able to come back on after exiting the stadium? Yep,
he is. I mean, you'd think on February 14, it's everything baked into it. He's going off on the stretcher. It'd be highly unlikely that you'd risk him again, wouldn't you, and bring him back out? But I mean, I hope for his sake that is the case.
Chris Who's Carlton general football manager?
Yes, what's he feeling there?
That'd be Chris
He'd
Davies.
be texting straight through, don't you dare put him back out there.
Yeah. Chris Davies new in the role, and this is not what he had envisaged. The lad from Mount Martha on the peninsula, and one-time All-Australian, the 28-year-old from Carlton, Jacob Wiedering, about to be stretchered from the ground midway through the opening term. The Vicks by 7 points, by the way, 4-2-26. The WA 3-1-19. The game has been played with all the intensity that we'd hoped, and as we touched on, the very real ramifications of a contact sport are incidents like this. It will immediately trigger the debate about
straight away,
is the game worthwhile? Is it worth the risk if someone gets stretched off in this kind of fashion? I mean, this could have happened in the first practice game with 15 people watching or whatever at a local community ground. It just happens to be here in front of the eyes of the nation and the ears of all of you listening on ABC Radio, and of course 55,000 plus inside Perth Stadium. Where do you sit on that, about the injury element that obviously goes hand in hand with these kind of games?
These injuries can happen at training, so I know that they try and minimise the chance of them happening by, telling defenders not to go too hard in training and in match sims. But it's a contact sport, like you said, so the risk is always going to be there.
And players know that.
Players know that.
I know when they walk out for training, any scratch match, Matt Sim, intra-club. So there's going to be contact, and you don't see it sometimes when it's coming. So
the concern is the neck and the way that they've immobilised him now to put him onto the stretcher and then to put him onto the Medicart. But the concern is certainly around the neck region. So he's been about to be lifted up onto the Medicart. And the way that they've surrounded him, they're taking now every precaution to make sure that they can't do any more damage to what could be a nasty situation for Jacob Wiedering. Our thoughts go out with him, and in what is for whatever it's worth, a nice touch. Both the WA and the Victorian teams have come across to surround the car.
It's interesting, the Victorian boys just before that had basically one of their fitness staff came out and told them to basically do like a pseudo warm-up to run through and keep the legs warm. Is there a fear that it changes the attitude of the players in the game? I mean, we've seen a hot 20 minutes. Is there a chance they all look at this and go, oh, maybe we pull it back a gear?
No, I don't think so.
No.
There would be very little chance of that being the case.
As you said, thoughts
on the line
with Jacob Wiedering. We always, whenever there's someone goes off in the stretcher, you know it's a serious case, but particularly the time and the care that they're taking. As Clint said, the attention that's been given to the neck area. Patrick Cripps, his Carlton teammate, goes over and has a chat with him again. And members of both teams as all walk up to the Medicab now and give him a touch, and that's good to see. Jacob Wiedering lifting his right arm and just giving a thumbs up to the WA players and the Victorian boys as they all go and give him a little pat on the shoulder as he makes his way off on the Medicab. So now 27.5 minutes into this opening quarter. So this delay's been going on for about 7 minutes. I think it was the 21-minute mark when the incident occurred. So we've had a 7-minute delay. Victoria lead the game by 7 points. WA kicked 2 goals in the opening 3 minutes before Victoria had even touched the football. And from that point on, the Vics have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals in the game. So before the 7-minute delay, Victoria had grabbed a little bit of momentum.
Here's a question. Why are they not taking him off the closest access?
Because I would imagine they want to take him. The concern is obviously about him. They will take him directly down into the rooms where Victoria are. Because even if they're that concerned, which I believe they are, because of the way they've treated him, that would add another 10 minutes to bring him around if they took him off. The game can wait another 40 seconds. He'll go straight
I thought it would be, it'd be
underneath over there.
Straight underneath and get him into an ambulance.
Well,
the cart's moving very slowly too. Mitch Turner's on the boundary. Mitch?
Yeah, just on that, I believe the ambulances are on this side of the ground, given this is where the change rooms are as well. So that's another reason they're coming across this way. But the good news for Jacob Wiedering is, which is some good signs, he has been moving his hands and he has been talking to the medical staff. So we can let our listeners know that it's there is some good signs as well for Jacob Wiedering, as bad as this does look.
Yeah, they'd be taking absolutely every precaution just in case there is a possibility that something has been damaged, that they're not going to make anything worse. But it is, just every precaution being taken.
After all that, the ball's out of bounds, about 52 metres away from WA's goal, so a 7-point lead for the Vics. They've kicked 4 of the last 5 goals, half an hour now into the opening quarter.
And we return with the umpire, boundary umpire, throwing it back into play. There's a free kick being spotted. It's going WA's way. It'll come to Patrick Cripps. Jill Brownlow medalist, WA captain, Carlton captain, decides to play on, looks to run around Sherry. Will kick into the right forward pocket. Waterman flew. Collins at the back, got a fist to it. Bounces down in the direction of Rivers. Step one way, step the other. Got a kick up into the air towards full forward. Flying again. Waterman couldn't mark. Spill down to Bontempelli of Victoria. Hand pass back to Stewart. Dropped it, but got it onto McCluggage. Worked it to Sinclair. Hand pass was meant to go to Sarong. It bounced over the boundary line. It's going to be a throw in. WA fans appealing for insufficient. No chance of that. There'll be a ball in the left forward pocket.
Of course, the last disposal rule only counts between the arcs, so you can't have that one there either. From the boundary throw in, Sherry palms it down for the Vics, but the WA boys win it. Cripps, hand pass to O'Meara, gives it to Cornelio, kick smothered. Bailey Smith with the 1%er out of play, half forward for the Sandgropers. Mitch Turner.
It's quickly worth noting, Mitch Georgiades was on the bench for WA, came off during that medical break. He ran over to the race and gave a tap to Jacob Wiedering after being involved in that contest.
So fearing a neck injury after an awkward landing with the weight of the player and sandwiched between that and the playing surface. Jacob Wiedering out of this game, stretch it off. Cherry lays it off by hand to Ash, who peels off the back flank for Victoria. Long kick to Holmes. Rivers slipped over. Holmes turns, kicks to full forward. Darcy's down there. Almost a one-hander trying to drag it in. Not to be. Tackled alongside the goal square. Umpire circles and says ball up deep forward for Victoria. It's almost Ablett-esque. Almost took a one-hander in the goal square.
That would have been nothing short of spectacular if he dragged that in. It was so close. Lob. Won it down, spills to Baker for WA at full back. Barras doesn't take it cleanly, had time to regather, got a hand pass to Cripps. WA captain, hand pass to O'Meara. Oh, crunched in the tackle. Anderson got him, spills out to his son's teammate in Rao. Moves it on again to Merritt, kicks towards full forward, going up Clark, couldn't mark. Slap back into play towards full forward by Darcy. King was there, gathered, gave it to Sarong, who snaps but didn't get enough purchase on the kick. And English was back in the defensive goal square for WA to take an important mark. And he moves it to Clark in the right back pocket.
Clark to his Fremantle teammate Jackson, takes the mark at half back, lays it off by hand to the runner Will Powell. Nick Dacos says come here, tackles him, got a hand pass away. English's hand pass knocked down, Dacos involved again, got it out to Holmes, hurried kick inside the forward pocket, ball trickles out of play. Boundary throw in.
Well, there's a bit of hesitation there from the umpires.
Yeah. Certainly a partisan crowd. The WA guys will be willing every whistle to go their way. Of course, usually the football crowd's divided when it comes to state loyalties. They're all together today.
Darcy got it down, did it beautifully too. Worked a kick to Merritt, kicked around the body, trying to centre it to full forward, but Charlie Cameron was there to take the defensive grab for WA. Immediately moves it looking for Lob. King came the other way, won it to ground. He'll get a free kick here, Lob. And on contact against King, and Lob has it at left half back. Victoria 4-2-26, WA 3-1-19. 33 minutes gone in the opening term, but there was that long delay after the Wiedering injury. Lob trundles inboard, got a kick that was touched, I think. So coming the other way, Collins marks, has to play on immediately. Kicks to Bontempelli, marks it right half forward. Back inside forward 50. Off hands, Merritt, soccers off the ground. Oh, what a finish. Genuine class. He kicks the Vicks down to another. They've got their fifth. 5-2-32. WA 3-1-19. It spilled for him. He just lashed at it. And it went between the big sticks for a major.
Jeez, and outnumbered too, Victoria there. Thought Roy Lobb had to bring it the other side of the ground then. There was plenty of opportunities to come corridor. The outnumber was on their far side of the ground and would have been a bold move, but that's where his numbers were. But yeah, a little execution error there. Certainly cost him on turnover.
Not sure who the spoil came from, but the kick in from Bontempelli. The spoil, it was 3v1 in the contest, and the spoil just got allowed to go into a very dangerous spot. Just got to kill that boundary as a defender, don't you?
Yep.
If you keep in mind too, WA kicked 2 goals before the Vicks had touched the footy. Victoria have now kicked 5 of the last 6 in the game. 13-point advantage for the visitors. Butters, first touch in the middle. Hand pass to Dacos, who's been busy. Gives it to Anderson on the wing. Just runs his way around Rivers. Kicks Victoria inside 50 again. They come from all directions. Clark standing in front. Spills the mark. Follows up. Gives it to Hill for WA. He can't trap it. Top of the goal square for Victoria. Dangerous moment. WA don't kill it. Ball handed out to Darcy. Gives it to King. Vicks have it, but under pressure. Hand pass to Holmes. His handball a turnover. Then Cornelio can settle it down. Hand pass out to Powell, who kicks off the back flank.
He's able to find Archie, who leaps up into the air to mark. Looks to play on by hand. Overlapping run came from Hill. And the Saint kicks towards right half forward. Good spoil. Stewart was there alongside Hardwick. Thumping it over the boundary line for a throw-in. About 70 out from WA's attacking goal. They're going to the Polly Farmer end of the ground to the left of our broadcast position. Of course, they're playing for the Grain Polly Farmer Cup today. State of Origin returns to Australian football. Spun in again. Both English and Gawn had a bit of a touch. It came down in the direction of Hill to shovel it out in the way to Bolton. It was stolen away by Dacos for Victoria, and that's another beautiful kick. Inboard to be marked by Richards. Measured precisely. Hands off to a runner going by, and they'll kick towards the commentary wing. Rivers is up. He couldn't mark. Ball hits the deck again. There's Green for the Victorians. Hand passes forward to Anderson. Popped the hand pass to Merritt. Gathered it beautifully. Hand passed over his shoulder. Bounced off Warner's face. And then hit the deck. Clark was there to mop up, and he gave it to Waterman at left half back.
His old man Chris played in the last time we had state footy representing WA. Long kick down the line, and Cameron, she went very high. Charlie Cameron, he went a mile too soon. And the early air miles cost him a free kick, goes against him. Collins takes it. And then Battle pokes the kick down the line for Victoria to Hardwick. Short kick to Smith, still with the long locks and the headband on. Inside forward 50. King tries to rip it down from the side, not to be. Spills front and centre. McCluggage trying to trap it, does so. Gang tackled, taken to ground. Ball up forward pocket for Victoria.
Good last line of defence stuff from Taylor there.
13-point lead for the Vics. They've kicked 5 of the last 6 goals. Ticking towards quarter time from the restart, but back out of bounds. Boundary throw in forward pocket for Victoria. Kicking to the city end, so 13-point advantage for the Vics, 5-2 to 3-1.
So throw in right full forward. City end of the ground. Victoria's attacking 50. Put in Darcy, got in front of English. Punted down to Rao. Met in a strong tackle by Humphries. Ball jarred free to Green. Met by 2 West Aussies. Jackson one way, Taylor the other. Ball up. Still deep at right full forward for Victoria, who lead 5-2 to 3-1 late in the first. Darcy palmed it back into the corridor. Eventually it's worked out to Rao. Got it on again to McCluggage, who's able to manufacture a kick through for a goal from about 25 metres out. WA claiming it was touched. Umpires aren't that interested. We will have a look again, I reckon, on the big screen. But that is a 6th goal now for Victoria and a 4th unanswered. 6-2-38 Victoria, 3-1-19 WA, and we've travelled 38 minutes into this opening term.
Yeah, Victoria are setting up for a kick-in, so we might not have seen it as a big deviation, but they set up straight for a kick-in, so maybe they heard something out there.
You can feel the energy come out of the stadium too, can't you?
Yeah.
After that last goal. It's 4 in a row. It's 6 of the last 7 for Victoria.
I know they took a while to get their hands on the footy, but in terms of disposals now, they've definitely started racking up 103 disposals to WA 68.
Hang on. We're cancelling out that goal, and the Arcs in early season form. It was touched on the way through, so scratch the McCluggage goal.
There wasn't much excitement after the goal, was there?
And there's the crowd returning into the game. They've got a role to play in cheering that goal being cancelled out. So instead of making it 6-2, it'll be 5-3. Keeps the margin a little closer at 14 points.
They make all these rule changes to speed the game up, but that umpire could have made that call there and then.
Powell. Long kick to the wing. Richards in from the side. Had his name written all over it. Takes the intercept mark for the Vics. Short kick to Smith. Between wing and half forward. Turns. Kicks inside 50. Taylor arriving late. Spoils for WA. Falls in the lap of Barris. He kicks out of defence. Underneath it, Holmes. No mark. Got contact from Clark illegally. Max Holmes will get it 60 metres out, left half forward, puts it back inside 50. Awkward half volley pick up. Power can't trap it. Ball spills front and centre. The Vics win it through King. Hand pass trying to link up there with Gunston. Not to be. Barris collects. He's rolled over in the tackle by Smith. We'll have the ball up inside the forward 50 for Victoria. Close to the boundary line, 35 metres out. Vics by 14.
39 minutes gone in the first from the restart. It's gone off hands and over the boundary line. Oh, and Cripps involved in a little bit here. The push and shove up against Butters. 2 number 9s. Butters, of course, has never seen an argument he didn't want to get involved with. It'll be spun back into play again. Rucks go at it. Both of them miss it. Maybe Green is able to gather, immediately goes to ground, looks to slap it out. Only as far as Cornelio. Clearing kick for WA. Up the middle. Stewart tries to mark in the centre square. It's been knocked away from him. It'll come back. It's been infringed. He'll get the free kick here, Stewart.
Did you see that footage coming out of Port Adelaide where Zach Butters has just stopped someone in their tracks in training? Just loves it, doesn't he?
He does. Here's Stewart for Victoria. Inside forward 50. King at the back. Spoils it down. Spills to Sarong. Here's McCluggage. He kicked the most recent goal. Or he would have. And he looks to steer this through. And he has. So after having one taken off him, McCluggage now finds himself on the goal-kicking list. That is their 6th, Victoria. And they have now kicked 4 unanswered goals. 6-3-39.
to WA's 3-1-19. 90 seconds to play in the first. And the air has again just deflated from the stadium.
And his customary song, the Hey Jude, which the Lions fans sing along as Hey Hugh, returns. So we get a second play in a matter of minutes. Yep.
Struggling to exit the ball out of back half, WA. Really battling.
They're just dumping it, aren't they? They're not able to chain it out. And they're resorting to a dump where Victoria is set up very well behind the play. And as we've seen Tom Stewart do for the last decade, mopping it up down there.
And then the ground level cover, the defending of their D50s not.
4 in a row for the Vics. Game high 20-point lead. Out of the middle, Shea Bolton. Hand pass away to Cozzy Pickett. Kicks to half forward. Awkward half volley pick up. Hogan can't trap it. Richards wins it for Victoria. Hand pass goes back to Hardwick. Kicks through traffic and Butters. So strong for a little man. Takes the mark in front of Clark. Heads down the wing. McCluggage does well to keep it in front of him and then nutmegs himself. Through the legs. Pickett knocks it away to Bolton. Bolton the 1-2 with Cripps. Now a hand pass back to Pickett. WA inside 50. Ugly kick. Bounces away. Oh, it's intercepted on the half-back flank by Hardwick. Stewart had it, lost it. WA back on the ball. Warner. Hand pass to Cornelio. Shrugged one tackle. Caught holding the ball. And there's that new interpretation. His prior opportunity was the shrug. The tackle completed by Sarong. Holding the ball. Free kick the Vics at centre half back.
And they'll move it to the southern wing. Sarong. Beautifully weighted kick. Looks out there to Gunston. Able to find Butters. Marks uncontested on the outer edge of the centre square. Out to Bontempelli. Sweeps it forward again to Butters. Now here's Ash. Hands it off once more. Kick from Sarong. Deep inside forward 50. Taylor's done well. Attack the football and takes the mark defensively for WA between fullback and centre half back. More of that required from the WA defenders. Now to Lob. Here's the problem for them though. Going beyond defensive 50. Lob goes long and very long and finds Hill, who marks on the wing and plays on quickly.
Comes inboard. Here's Waterman. Oh, and time runs out on WA. And Jake Waterman, who's almost on halfway, says, hang on, I'll take my kick. Tumbles a drop punt, or at least it was an attempted spiral, and it's picked off by Stewart. So that'll end the quarter. Origin is back. It's a 43-minute quarter to start the new season. Victoria 6-3-39, lead WA 3-1-19. A 43-minute quarter that had it all. If you wanted a serious game of footy, we got one of those. The box ticked. If you wanted a fast start from WA, we got one of them. In the first 3 minutes, WA kicked the opening 2 goals. The Vics have taken over from that point on, kicking 6 of the last 7. And if you're a pessimist about the contest and you're worried about the risks that are associated, well, unfortunately, we got one of those too. Jacob Wiedering taken off the ground after being sandwiched between the playing arena and Mitch Georgiades. His falling body after a marking contest. And concern around the neck of Wiedering. He was stretchered from the ground, which triggered an 8-minute delay. The goal kickers for Victoria, 2 for Ben King. He's the only multiple goal kicker in the game. Toby Green's got 1. The skipper Bontempelli with a goal. Zach Merritt 1 off the deck, and Hugh McCluggage kicked the last. Meanwhile, for Western Australia, singles for Jesse Hogan, Charlie Cameron, and Chad Warner kicked the first State of Origin goal since 1999 to open the game in the first minute. This is Origin Footy on ABC Sport. Before we hear from Sharad and Wowie, Mitch Turner is on the boundary. Mitch.
Just a quick update on Jacob Wiedering. So he definitely will not take any further part in this game as expected. They're not going to give a full update on his condition until after the match in the press conferences. So just in waiting to see how severe it is, they're not going to give us any further update other than he is out of the rest of the game.
You're looking pretty cool down there with the shades on, the outfits.
He's all over it. Mitch Turner on the boundary for us today on ABC Sport. Off the SMS, Kate and Q. Why are they playing Origin footy at the start of the season with an emoji attached, which really just expresses a bit of pain and exhaustion. So I'll leave that as comment. Kate, Robin Greensborough says, I might have jinxed this, but if that's more than 4 weeks for Wiedering, then we might be watching the last Origin game ever. And Dean off the SMS says, everyone is constantly complaining and worried about what happens if one player gets injured. I bet it was never mentioned before any of the games in the 70s and the 80s. They just played. Injuries can happen. It's part of the game. Stop making it the proviso that Origin games should only be played if no one gets injured or hurt, from Dean. So a little sample off the SMS, 0467920222. The thoughts of our analysts coming up next. Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham. That's only moments away. This is Origin Footy on ABC Sport.
The 2026 AFL State of Origin. Western Australia versus Victoria. Live from Perth Stadium.
Cameron again won it down. It spills in. First goal goes the way of WA Warner. He had it in the right forward pocket, threw it on the boots. And WA strike first against Victoria.
Butters shares it with Dacos. Back to Butters. Takes a bounce. Runs into the centre square. Stepped around Charlie Cameron. Ran straight at Norton. Got his possess. Here is Charlie. Takes a bounce. Runs the 45 out. Listen to the crowd.
Bontempelli trying to shot on goal, just trickles away. O'Meara waxes with his mate Cornelio, then gives it to Archie. Handball picked off. Dacos wins it for the Vicks. Clever kick. Pulls it back to the skipper and Bontempelli marks. Here's the Bont, the Victorian skipper. Slots it.
Kick goes to Georgiades. He was the WA median of Victoria sandwich, and he's landed on a Victorian underneath that who's in immediate trouble. And that doesn't look good. Coming towards it was Wiedering, and Georgiades landed on him really heavily, and he's remained down. Oh dear. Lob trundles inboard. Got a kick that was touched, I think. So coming the other way, Collins marks, has the play on immediately. Kicks to Bontempelli, marks it right half forward. Back inside forward 50. Off hands, Merritt, soccers off the ground. Oh, what a finish.
2026 AFL Origin.
On radio, on digital, and on ABC Listen.
6 goals to 3. Victoria on top at quarter time, a 20-point advantage, 6-3 to 3-1. This is Origin Footy on ABC Sport, and this is Shane Wheeldon and Sharad Wellingham.
Hot start from WA, but definitely got dragged back through a bit of tempo football from Victoria, who were able to control the pace a little bit through the middle part of the quarter, and then were probably able to accelerate away through possession. You know, we touched on it plenty of times that Victoria didn't have their hands on it. Ended up winning the disposal count 122 to 83. So really turned it around after WA for the first 5 minutes didn't give them a sniff of getting possession. But yeah, it was their ability to, I think, just be so clinical with their disposal in every way, coming out of the back line, grafting it up, and then making a decision to get it in long and let their forwards. We saw Lob get done a couple of times, wrong positioning and just getting out-muscled. We spoke about the number of midfielders that they've got, and Dacos and Sarong, Merritt are all really running a mark through the middle and able to transition, as opposed to WA, who haven't been able to bring it out of the back half.
Yeah, I didn't think WA defended well behind the ball on turnover. Uncontested footies, minus 30 in Victoria's favour there too. So just thought that little bit of lack of concentration in behind, particularly when they turned it over at half forward. They were just able to bounce back and go pretty quickly on them. And you just see waves of Victorians unopposed going back inside 50. So had a good look at it going back in, and yeah, they've certainly bounced back after that first 6 or 7 minutes where WA certainly controlled it. So
they've dumped it inside their forward 50 as well when they have, managed to get it in there. When you look at the inside 50s, it's 10 to 21 in Victoria's favour. So the few times that they did get it in there for the second half of the quarter, they were just dump kicks that were able to be, snappled up by the Victorian defenders and brought out far too easy. So yeah, cleaning up their inside 50s for WA point of view, but Victoria, if they can continue to just be really clinical with their disposal, I think will continue to carve through the WA midfield.
There'll be people driving around listening to us thinking, is it what it was advertised as? Has it been a fair income game of footy? What do you say to that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the hot start, it was on physically. Players were all over it, getting into it. Probably did deflate a little bit post-injury.
Yeah.
But as you said,
I think the quarter-time break, maybe they'll go back in, re-centre them and re-energise them, I suppose, and park the potential injury to Wiedering and say, we've got to have that enthusiasm and energy around the contest again. But yes, there's definitely fire out there.
Yeah. A couple of the leading disposal getters. So Merritt with 9, Max Holmes with 9, 8 each for Sarong, Dacos and Richards from a Victorian point of view. And for the home team, O'Meara's had 8, as has the captain, Paddy Cripps, 6 for Cornelio and Clark. Worth pointing out too, there are medals, as is always the case in state footy, or at least in the latter years. So the Graham Moss medal, named after the champion Claremont and Essendon ruckman. What a player he was, Mossy, who changed the game. First ever Brownlow medalist out of Western Australia. He has the Graham Moss medal named in his honour. That'll be presented to the best WA player. And as has been the case since the mid-80s, the E.J. Whitten medal will go to the player who judged best of field in the Victorian team. We'll keep an eye on that as we work our way through. Second term underway. Ruck share it down. Sarong hands it to Gawn. Hand pass away to Butters for Victoria. Short kick to Gunston. Clean ball movement again for the Vics. Headed to the Farmer Freeway end. He goes short to Rowell. And the Brownlow medalist who started on the bench kicks inside the forward 50. Bonts down there, knocked away from him. Barris for WA. Oh, hand pass dangerous. Gives it to Dangerfield. Shakes the tackle. He was taken high. It was Baker who tried to mow him down. He got him over the shoulder. The ump was right on the spot. And Patrick Dangerfield will take it right half forward for Victoria.
I'm not sure about that one either. Oh, left arm maybe.
Left arm was over. But it was in the action of Dangerfield trying to shrug it.
Yep.
The 8-time All-Australian, one of 7 premiership players out there for the Vics. Of course, coming off his legacy game in last year's prelim. Dangerfield on a drop punt. What do they say in the NBA? The ball don't lie when a decision goes against a certain team, and maybe that's the footy gods taking care of that one. He misses wildly out to the left, so Victoria by 21.
Kicking from WA. Taken by Humphreys. They'll move it in the right back pocket. Here's Rivers. Down the wing. Jackson flew. Couldn't bring down the footy, but he's going to get a free kick. Taken out of it.
No, Richards
is going the other way. So that's to Richards, I beg your pardon.
Not sure what that was for.
Yeah. Oh, there's the crowd. Richards moves it on. Finds Sarong. On the bounce, he gathers hard up against the boundary. He gets bumped over the boundary line. Meantime, his kick has gone inside forward 50, and Barris marks. Has it for WA. Takes every one of the 8 seconds he's allowed, and then decides to send it back towards the commentary wing. Reading it from a long way back, Georgiades sets himself and then takes the mark. Oh, shocking kick. Turns it inboard. Bontempelli couldn't believe his luck. Takes the mark and immediately out to Gunston. 55 from goal, and then stabs the pass to Dacos. He gets the Bronx cheers around Perth Stadium for no other reason than he's an absolute gun. And he'll have a shot at goal, 45-degree angle to the left-hand side. He'll put boots a ball from just inside 50.
Is that it's almost the WA mark of respect, is it? It's
yeah.
Just Tad, why are they booing him? It's like, oh, he's very good.
Because he's very... It's state of origin. It's like going up to Queensland. We'd boo Santa Claus like the Maroons would as well. Here comes Dacos. We're right behind the kick. It started out a little bit to the right. It curved through beautifully for a goal. And that noise you hear, that's the floodgates opening. WA need to be real careful about now. Victoria have got their 7. 7-4-46 to WA's 3-1-19. We've gone 3 minutes into the second term. Mitch Turner is downstairs.
Update, just a quick update on Jacob Wheeldon. The only one we have is that he is headed to hospital. So that's the last update we'll probably get on Jacob Wheeldon's condition until after the game.
Yeah, I think ribs, lungs. His guess.
Yeah.
Not sure what Mitch was looking at there.
No. It was definitely just trying to create something that didn't need to be done.
That's not Mitch Turner, by the way. That's
Mitch Georgiades.
Yeah, he's all over it, Mitch Turner. He's in fine form early in the new season. Victoria well on top now. 27 points the margin. Rao got it out. Hand pass to his mate Anderson. Kicks up over halfway. Gone. His handball picked off. Cripps for WA to O'Meara. Oh, handball to Rivers. Fumbles. Tackled front on illegally. There's a bit of biff too as the battle is trying to be separated and dragged off. The player heading up was Toby Green, who laid the tackle, and no doubt he's the one in the bottom that they're trying to rip off. The player who gets the free in Rivers goes along with the kick out wide to Darcy Cameron. Short kick finds Aaron Norton, who takes the mark. Right half forward. His first touch of the game comes 4 minutes into the second term. Heads to the hot spot, Jackson. And Jackson marks 20 metres out, just right of centre. That's a good first involvement for Aaron Norton.
Yep, it wasn't so much to Jackson, it was just to a really dangerous spot inside the forward 50 and let the forwards get to work. Hogan was second in line there after doing some good leads back to the goal square, but Jackson just athleticism to get to the contest.
The rotation's also a bit interesting given there's 7 on the bench, so that's part of the reason we haven't seen Norton's involvement so far. rather than just a quiet outing. 4 minutes into the second term, the drop punt from Jackson. He squeezes it through. 1 WA needed. Trims Victoria's lead to 21. 5 minutes gone in the second term. The Sandgropers 4-1-25. The Vicks 7-4-46. This is Origin Footy on ABC Sports. Shane Wheeldon and Sharad Wellingham.
Yeah, Tools haven't had much presence yet, have they? Particularly in the front half, but...
Well, that's that piece. Like, there's been no connection between the mids and forwards, has there? And we saw then Norton, a nice hit-up lead from Cameron, who's, you know, able to expose Gawn on a transition run. But, yeah, it hasn't really been a lead-up chest mark, kick a goal kind of forward 50 at the moment, has it?
The Jackson goal is a run of 5 unanswered goals from Victoria. Absolutely vital for WA to stay in touch. Throwing up. Cameron won it down and then soccers it off the ground, but straight into a pack. Beautifully taken, though, by Dacos. Tries to work it forward. Cripps was there, looked to knock it away. Going out after it again and scooping it up is Warner, and then breaks the tackle from Smith. Hand pass out to Rivers. His hand pass was poor. Went to Anderson of Victoria. Hand pass to Dacos. Oh, razzle-dazzle. Hand passed over the shoulder. Fortunately for him, it went to Rivers, and he got it for WA. And now here's Bolton getting chased down by Green. Got a hand pass away to Taylor. Back to Bolton on the southern wing by hand. Bolton kicks towards left half forward. Here's Pickett, runs onto the bouncing footy. Hand passes past his opponent, can't quite keep it in. He set himself a real task there. Josh Battle was in the vicinity, went racing by, but he didn't get the bounce that he needed. And it tumbles across for a throw-in inside WA's forward 50. About 35 out from their attacking goal.
Gawn and Darcy Cameron to do the ruck work. And the Demon and the Magpie from the boundary throw-in. One down by Gawn. WA threatening, though. Hand pass goes over the shoulder from Cornelio. Couldn't link up with Pickett, and Collins is tackled, taken to ground. Hogan brings him down, but with no prior. And the umpires who we love seeing in white today. And for a throwback, and the state jumpers on display. Gawn whacks it clear, but only as far as Shea Bolton. Hooks it across the body, misses. Minor score, Victoria by 20 points, but perhaps a little momentum just swung the other way. So 7 minutes into the second term, and WA with a bit of a pep in their step.
Holmes to McCluggage in the left back pocket to Richards. He marks. Defensive 50-metre arc at left half back. Stabs it to Bailey Smith on the defensive corner. The centre square at left half back. Get told to move it on now. Looks to switch play. There's 2 Vicks out at right half back. One of them is Hardwick. He marks and looks to play on. Measured kick to Anderson, the Suns captain, on true centre wing, about a metre in from the boundary. Southern side of Perth Stadium. The kick is towards right half forward. Working there was Green, couldn't take it. Tap forward by Sinclair, back to Green. He's ricocheted off the shins of Barris. And over the boundary line.
Oh, the lasso.
Free kick, yeah. They've called that last disposal. Interesting one. They go inside forward 50 here, the Vicks. Works its way again towards Green, who kicks it into the shins. That's interesting. Into the shins of his West Australian opponent. So it's deemed to go out of bounds on the full. Dangerfield moves it back in towards Dacos, who has a ping from 45 out, and he misses to the right-hand side. That's an interesting play there. Toby Green has kicked it straight into the shin of Jordan Clark, and then it's been deemed to go out of bounds on the full.
Here is Clark, and the kick-out duties, takes some ground and then goes long to the wing. Punched away by Cripps. Into the path of Rouse. Short kick to Green. Takes a sprawling mark. The crowd didn't think it was 15. It was touch and go, and Green takes the sprawling mark centre-half forward. Toby Green. Oh, ugly kick inside 50. Clean bowls a couple. WA gather through Rivers. Hand pass puts Bradley Hill under immediate pressure. Gets a kick away for WA. Turnover. Bontempelli. Big fend off to Cornelio. Kick back inboard. Smith spills it under pressure. Now Taylor intercepts for WA. Bounces a kick to centre half back. Now they're out in a bit of space. Warner, long kick into an open paddock. There's no one really there. Pickett giving chase. The Vicks with the numbers first. Collins hands it to Holmes. Gives it back to Collins. He kicks wide. Out to Sinclair. Went over his head. Close to the boundary line. Right, some contact from Norton. But Sinclair got it on.
Victoria, a chance to go away down the outer side. Bounce from Anderson, then a second. He can keep going if he wants to. Instead, he'll kick inside forward 50. Bailey Smith marks right in front of goal. And he's about 40 metres out. They bounce back quickly, Victoria, and now they've got themselves a shot at goal.
Missed opportunity for Cameron to come through that contest and put a real big body spoil on Smith.
Just waited for it, didn't he?
Kick was just too good.
Here's Bailey Smith, All-Australian last year. He's pretty much bang in front, and he's hit the left-hand goal post. Sends it swaying left and right. A minor score for Victoria, 7-6-48. WA 4-2, 26-10 gone in the second.
Clark with the exiting kick finds Waterman, so the docker to the Eagle. And sends it out wide to the Saint in Bradley Hill. Three-time premiership winner with the Hawks. Sends it down the outer side. Finds Norton, who collects on the half volley. High half forward. Hand pass to Baker. Dabs it inside 50. And Georgiades hits up and takes the mark. And Mitch Georgiades' namesake, Mitch Turner, he's on the boundary.
Just worth noting, the player opposed to Mitch Georgiades the last 5 minutes with the shuffle in the Victorian backline is Max Holmes. He's playing as the deepest defender for this Victorian side after they've reshuffled with Jacob Wiedering's injury.
Played his junior footy for Marist in the inner northern suburbs. Went to Hale School, one of the prestigious grammar schools here in Perth. Mitch Georgiades, of course, now plying his trade at the professional level with Port Adelaide. Back in his home state, Mitch Georgiades misses. Near side on the drop punt. WA have lifted, but they've got a gap to close. Victoria by 21. A dozen minutes gone in the second term. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
Here's Ash. Goes on a little run for Victoria and pumps it in the direction of Gawn. Barris spoils it down for WA. Spilled to Georgiades. Gave it to Hill. Goes back to Clark on the southern wing for WA. Kicks inboard to Baker, co-captain for the Eagles. Kicks long into the left forward pocket. Big pack up. Collins got a fist to it. Punches it away. Anderson couldn't take it. Scooped up there by Brad Hill. Back to Barris, who's at left half forward. Kicks back to full forward for WA. Again, a massive pack up there trying to gather it. Come down in the direction of Pickett. Couldn't take it cleanly. Victoria can rebound in the direction of Gawn. Again, tackled by Barris. Barris tries to gather. Look to work it out the side, and eventually it's been held in here to Hill by Bailey Smith. It's a ball up, left half forward, about 53 out from WA's attacking goal. Victoria 7-6-48, WA 4-3-27, 13 gone in the second.
From the restart, one down by English. Jackson playing as a rover, kicks inside 50, but the Vics pick it off. Collins at fullback for Victoria. Hand pass to McCluggage, handball to Stewart under pressure from Pickett. Got it away to Anderson off the back flank, exits defensive 50. Pickett with a late contact and a downfield free. So Victoria by 21. Gawn lays it off by hand to Bailey Smith. One of plenty of runners in this team. Kicks to half forward. Flying for it, Powell. No mark. Follows up. Gives it to Clark. Rides the tackle from Butters. Hand pass to Humphreys. WA out through the middle. Kicks wide to Georgiades. Looks inside the forward 50. Comes wide to Cameron. It's broken up by Battle. And Battle just hangs the kick back inside the field of play, and McCluggage onto it on the wing.
Tries to step away from Rivers and escapes the Rivers tackle. Lovely kick inboard, sliding out. Butters marks in the centre square. Goes forward to Dacos. Run down by Georgiades. And that will get the biggest cheer of the day. Just for once, Dacos wasn't able to escape and deliver. Georgiades with the free kick to English. Doesn't mark, but can play on by hand. He got the advantage from being spoiled anyway. Came to Hill, inside forward 50. Waterman marks 49 out from goal. Hard up against the boundary in the left forward pocket. Jake Waterman. His dad captained WA in their last Origin game. Chris, the dual Eagles premiership player. Jake, after an injury hit season last year, with the unfamiliar 45 on his back. At a signing session, actually signed the big number 2 jumper in the city, and then suddenly realised that that's not what he's wearing in Origin. Here he is anyway. Waterman from 51 out at left half forward. The stadium will tell you what he's done. What a big moment that could be for WA. They've had the momentum, and now they're starting to make it count on the scoreboard. Victoria's lead cut to 15 points. The Vics are 7-6-48. WA 5-3-33. We've travelled 15 minutes into the second term. This is Origin Footy on ABC Sports and on Sport Digital.
I feel like they're connecting better too, WA, at the moment, particularly in the second term, and it's getting better looks when they go inside 50.
It was a really, really important tackle that Georgiades made against Dacos. They were able to transition the whole way out the other side of the ground. And I think you said it in the first quarter, there was the opportunity to use the open side, and that's what Georgiades did. Just took it off, I think, to English, who'd broken out to the open side.
7-6, the inside 50s in the quarter, and the disposals about even as well. So WA back in the game. Warner just wrong foots Bontempelli. Darts out of the middle for WA. Long kick to full forward. Georgiades and Waterman fly. Ball hits the deck. Bolton threw his arms back. Wanted a free. He's going to get it. WA take the advantage. Baker to Cameron. Goal. And this game is right back on. Charlie's got a couple. And the Sandgropers have kicked the last three. Victoria, who once led by 27, lead by only 9. 6-3-39 WA. Victoria 7-6-48. 16 gone in the second term. Origin Footy on ABC Sport.
At the smalls when they hits the ground in there.
They're hitting that contest at pace. Who was it that came through? Is it Archie who comes through initially, and then a great come from Baker off that loose ball?
Yeah, Baker out to Charlie.
There's another one with footwork. Warner. Then just get at dangerous areas. Yeah. I think Bolton first.
Bolton, yeah.
Last 5 inside 50s for WA. Last 3 goals as Corbin told you. Sherry wins the tap, but English will gather. Gave it to Warner. WA away. Kicking deep into the left forward pocket. Flying up again. Georgiades couldn't quite get there. Hardwick over the top. Slapped it along the ground to Collins. Tried to shovel it forward. Had to go back by hand to Richards. Shrugged the tackle. Got his arms free. Kicked beyond defensive 50. Sarong with it now for Victoria. Hands it off to Rao. The reigning Brownlow medalist kicks towards the outer wing. Trying to attack it. Here's Dangerfield. We know how good he can be. Hand passes a little bit behind Rao. Early season spraying from Dangerfield. Rao able to go again to Bontempelli, who marks, kicks inside forward 50. Exquisite delivery. Darcy out, marks. They had no chance of stopping that, WA. And Darcy has got it 45 from goal. He's in line with the right hand behind post.
No, Dangerfield's 35 or 36, whatever he is, but he came out and attacked that contest with every bit of power that he always exhibits, didn't he?
Yep. Missed tackle in forward 50 cost WA.
It was almost like they dropped the tackle, expecting to get a free kick. So odd one.
Youngest player, least experienced in terms of games in the Victorian side. Darcy, Mark of the Year winner last year, part of the All-Australian squad as well. Here he comes. Kicks from 49 out. It's heading towards goal. It misses to the right-hand side. A minus score. 7-7-49 Victoria, 6-3-39 WA. 19 gone in the second.
The last 3 scoring shots for the Vics, all behinds. So haven't capitalised. A couple of those misses are set shots too. So Humphreys to Clark and now to Broad. What a story this man is. Nathan Broad played senior footy in the Waffle for Swan Districts, went to Richmond, wins 3 flags, and he gets a chance to represent his state. Turned down big money to stay at Richmond, be part of the next phase of the club. Short to Rivers, long kick down the wing. Hogan the target. Is he dragged down? Yes, free kick. So Hogan on the wing. WA right back in this game. They've kicked the last 3. Vics by 10 points. Hogan heads inside the forward 50. They come from all directions, and Sherry with the headgear on, as is customary for him, drops in the hole, takes the intercept mark, and he wants to go back and across. He does so to Hardwick, and the Hawk continues the shift out to Ash. He's off and running off the back flank. The Giant chips it further afield to his GWS skipper. And Toby Green, short pass to Butters. Good move, ball movement by the Vicks. On the southern side, kicks inboard. Finds Merritt. Hand pass to Dacos. Handball to Dangerfield. Back to Dacos. The walls close in. He almost turns it over. Dangerfield helps out. Hands it off towards Ben King for his third. He's got it. And Victoria settle it down. After 3 straight WA goals, Victoria answer back. And it's Ben King's third that does it. 8-7 to 6-3. Victoria back out by 16 points, and a bit of air comes out of the Perth Stadium balloon. 20 minutes gone in the second term. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
That was a prime example of the Victoria skill and ability just to carve from one end to the other. Butters, I think, that inside 45 kick where he's facing down the ground but still just drags it across his body and finds that free inside player who I believe was Dangerfield.
Yep.
Who's involved again and ends up getting the hands off to King for the goal.
Must be fun, isn't it, when you give the ball. I mean, you guys played in good teams at different times where you give the guy to the next player in the chain and you know that he's going to make a good decision and he's going to be able to execute. What a luxury.
A restart, one down by Darcy Cameron. Got it to Baker for WA. Kick down towards left half forward. Charlie Cameron will get there first. Tries to work around Sinclair. Hand pass inside forward 50. It comes to Bolton. Throws it on the left. Kicks towards goal. He's missed. Pushing it across the face. Minor score. 6-4, 40 to 8-7, 55. Victoria in front. 22 gone in the second.
Stewart into kick-out duties. Goes wide to Bontempelli. And there's that rule tweak we've seen. You've got to move it quick. And the players have done that from the kick-out. So it's in line with what we see around the ground. You've got 8 seconds to move it on. Bontempelli inboard to Sherry, and the man on the mark is the WA skipper. He was coaxed into trying to follow the feint on the hand pass from Tristan Sherry, and it'll cost him 50. Gee, and it's a generous 52 as Sherry goes from the back half to have the man on the mark stand 35 metres out directly in front.
Yeah, that was probably 10 metres inside the defensive half.
Yeah. Gee, wouldn't mind buying real estate off him. And Tristan Sherry, the only North Melbourne player in the fixture. The drop punt from the big man, and he puts it through. Back-to-back goals for Victoria. And the lead balloons back to 21 points. 22 minutes gone, second term. The Big V, 9-7. 61, they lead the Black Swans. 6-4, 40, 21-point game. Origin footy on ABC Sport late in the second term.
They did transition the ball very well, Victoria, particularly from their back half. And it's unopposed at times too, so free possession footy getting through. Yeah, just inhibit him there. Paddy Cripps on the mark. Didn't go off the mark. Tristan Cherry. Looks like there's smiles all around down there, but
yeah, just some footage of Wiedering getting loaded into the ambulance, but the doctor there did appear to be smiling and not too doom and gloom, hopefully.
Gawn wins it down. Oh, Rao bursting through. Beautiful hand pass away to Butters. Runs to the top of the 50 to Bontempelli to Smith. Razzle-dazzle football from Victoria. Kick comes the way of Gunston. Gathered it on the bounce and then measures the kick precisely. Back inboard to full forward to Butters, who marks. Wow, that was delightful to watch it unfold. 9-7, 61 the Vicks at the moment. 6-4, 40 WA. And this would be a real blow for WA if Butters can go back and add his name to the list of Victorian goal kickers.
And WA mids just didn't follow him down.
Twice an All-Australian, 3-time best and fairest winner with Port. Zach Butters right in front. And he steers it through for Victoria. And they've now kicked 3 unanswered goals. The Vicks with their 10th. 10-7, 67. WA 6-4, 40. 24 minutes gone in the second term. Victoria out to a 27-point lead.
5 goals from centre bounce. Been good, Butters.
It's been the most impressive thing for mine is the skill level from Victoria, isn't it? They've just been able to carve. I said it a number of times, but just carve with their foot and hand. Disposal has been absolutely elite.
He's now on the last 3 best and fairest at Port Adelaide, Zach Butters. Incredibly, when you look across the competition, there's only 18 teams, and at a third of them, so 6 of the 18, we've had consecutive runs. There are 4 guys now in the competition that have won the last 3 best and fairest at their club, and another 2 that have gone back-to-back. More on that in a moment. Anderson, hand pass away towards Dacos. Kicks to centre-half forward. Green leaps up, no mark. Spills down to Merritt, dispossessed in the Rivers tackle, holding the ball, tried to break it. And the ump said you can't do that, so free kick for Rivers. He's going to pull the trigger, and he goes long out to the wing. Archie the target. Bontempelli arrives late, spoils, but slips over. And Archie gathers, gives it to the runner, Chad Warner. Puts some space between him and Bontempelli. Kicks inside 50. Hogan hitting up. Marks on his chest, and Hogan bursting out of the goal square will shoot from 25 out straight in front. Mitch Turner on the boundary.
Yeah, a couple of injury concerns for the West Australian side at the moment. Mitch Georgiades has had his hamstring being worked on, and right now it's like he's trying to convince the physios to let him go back out there, as Will Powell is being held from the field with a right shoulder injury. The doctors bringing him off at the moment, injured in that last contest in Victoria's forward 50.
I saw a replay of that just a second ago. Toby Green sort of landed on his head, which has sort of wrenched his head to the side and hurt a neck or shoulder for Powell.
And all of this follows Jacob Wiedering being hospitalised after a collision earlier in the game. Hogan on the drop punt. It's good. And WA hang about. 21 points the margin. More activity on the bench as Power comes limping off. Mitch Turner, what can you see down there? Victoria 10-7. They lead WA 7-4.
Yeah, it looks like Mitch Georgiades is going to try his hamstring out and come back onto the field. Will Powell gone straight and had a sit down. He's got about 3 or 4 doctors around him at the moment. He was clutching at that right shoulder, maybe even the collarbone area as well. So we'll wait and see.
Interesting stage of the game. Wowie and Sharrett, it sort of felt like just as WA closed the gap, the object in the rearview mirror got bigger for Victoria. They put their foot on the gas, put some gap in the game, and now it's back to 21 again. A handy goal for Hogan.
Yeah, it's a slugfest there. Change of momentum.
A bit cooler out there at the moment, and down to 27 degrees in the middle as Dacos gets a hand pass away from the restart to Sarong for Victoria. Sweeping hand pass to Holmes with a new short back and sides. Kicks into the right forward pocket for Victoria. Flying was King, couldn't mark. Clark at the drop for WA. Hand pass to O'Meara. Will send the ball beyond defensive 50. It hits towards the boundary line. Darcy Cameron's able to drag it in. Hand pass back to O'Meara. Can play on. Gets a kick in the direction of right half forward. Georgiades battles against Stewart. Georgiades on. He'll get the free kick. Stewart infringing him as he tried to get after the football. Hand pass inboard comes to Warner. Kicks high up into the air. It'll go towards full forward. Pickett set himself. He flew. Spills down at the back. Hill. Brad Hill runs it along the ground and between the big sticks for a major for WA. They go back-to-back with goals. And they're still sticking around, the Black Swans. Victoria 10-7-67. WA 8-4-52. A 15-point lead to the Vics as we close in on half-time.
They got to just get it deep.
Yeah, it was a rushed, not a rushed kick by Warner, but it was a dangerous kick that he didn't have a target in mind, but just saw a good spot inside the forward 50 and then let the forwards get to work. And we saw a good contest. I think it may have been Pickett, who was on the borderline of infringing against the Victorian defender. I think Holmes looked like he kind of tried to draw it a little bit too much there, but a great crumb from Hill.
Brad Hill in number 10, which he wore in the premierships for Hawthorn. Clint mentioned earlier one of the numbers, Jake Waterman in 45, not his usual number 2. So it was a process to decide all of that, which we'll get to in just a moment. 15-point game, WA back in it. English waxes with Bolton, who then kicks out wide, finds Hill, who turns, marks, stabs it short to Keziah Pickett. He marks between wing and half forward. He wants Hardwick to come back on the mark. The ump says, just take your kick, Cozzy. Turns and puts it into the forward pocket. Waterman bursting out. Can't complete the mark. Spills down to Ash. Pumps it back up into midfield for Victoria. Hill clever. Knocks it in the direction of Broad, but it's broken up. Smith for Victoria. Hand pass looking for Sherry. WA with the numbers. Wins out. Baker dabs it short and Humphreys takes the mark against the boundary line.
Has a chance to go on a run. Steps inside Hardwick. Humphreys kicks across half forward and there's a free kick coming back.
Ran too far. Humphreys changed his mind. The option he went for in the end was the right one, but he just Too many steps.
Wow. Taken here by Hardwick to have it at right half back.
Stiff there, Waterman on that lead. Need to draw that free kick.
Vicks move it short to Butters. And Butters' kick has got too much on it, going over the head of Anderson and out of bounds on the football.
There's a lot of talk about the lack of positional players that Victoria picked. Maybe instructive here with Wheeldon out injured. Max Holmes is playing fullback on Jake Waterman, which is not the matchup you usually see for the dashy wingman.
Brad Hill, who takes the free kick, goes to Broad. Goes back inside to Rivers, has space to run, takes 2 bounces, goes beyond defensive 50, draws a player towards him, hands it off to Broad. Broad then sweeps a hand pass towards the northern wing to Taylor. Taylor forced the hand pass back on the bounce to Broad. He needs to move it quickly, too far, but not long enough to be a mark, rather. Cornelio to Baker. It's inside forward 50, and it's hacked away out of there. And got over the boundary line for a throw-in just inside WA's forward 50. Good spoil. 12 apiece at the moment, spoils, by the way. Ought to be spun back in. Gawn up against Darcy Cameron. It's Cameron who wins it down for WA to Cornelio. Snaps around the body, inside forward 50. Taken here eventually by Collins. His kick is then marked. Going up to take the grab is Warner. Has he been paid it? No. Must have been touched on the way through. Warner certainly thought he had the mark, but umpires thought differently from the restart. Comes down again to Butters. Ducked his heads, but taken high. The crowd won't like that at all. Butters looks to play on quickly for Victoria.
Gives it to Sarong, who kicks in front of the benches and merit marks. Right in front of the interchange gates. Short kick to Nick Dacos. Chief possession getter on the ground with 17. Heads inside the forward 50. Sherry, the target. The pack was crashed by his own teammate in Darcy. Spills down to the Bont. Gives it to Green. Kicks in the pocket. McCluggage back with courage. Takes the mark looking over his shoulder. And McCluggage will shoot from the left forward pocket for Victoria.
Another huge contest, wasn't it? Darcy coming through on Sherry.
McCluggage arcs out to his right, hooks it through for a goal. He's got a couple. And Victoria with a bit more breathing room. 33 minutes gone in the second term. Vicks by 21. 11-7 to 8-4. And feels like the margin's kind of got out to 20 plus a couple of times. WA have pegged it back, and here we are again on the stroke of half-time. Origin footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemas, Clint Wheeldon calling the game. Mitch Turner's on the boundary. Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woden, your analysts.
Bit of a shootout this quarter, isn't it? And just momentum changes for 3 or 4 minutes there apiece, and they pile on a couple. Just seem Victoria forward to centre, just got free numbers in majority of their chains, and they just seem to have a little bit better looks going forward.
I do wonder if fatigue for the huge number of Victorian midfielders, if the I suppose more positional players that WA has could come into an advantage for them.
Gawn wins the restart up against the English, comes out the side to Sarong, and Sarong will kick towards the right forward pocket. Barris got underneath his opponent in Gunston. Neither took the mark. Comes out here for WA. Clark, hand pass to no one in particular. Merritt was delighted to get there. He got tackled. Ball jarred free. Umpire says play on, advantage to Victoria. It comes to Rowell, who goes short and moves it inside forward 50 to Bontempelli, marking 48 out from goal, in line with the right hand behind posts. The captain of Victoria, already with 1 goal today. Premiership player, 7-time All-Australian, 6-time best and fairest winner, twice a runner-up in the Brownlow. So Bontempelli on the stroke of half-time, looking for another one for Victoria. He's missed to the left. It's a 22-point margin at the major change. Victoria 11-8-74, WA 8-4-52.
So they ended up winning the quarter, the Vicks. When you keep in mind, WA did get it back to single digits. They got within 9 points, the midway stage of that term, but Victoria, who led by 20 At quarter time, lead by 22 at the half. The goal kickers, Ben King's got 3, then singles for Toby Green, Marcus Bontempelli, Hugh McCluggage, Zach Merritt, Nick Dacos, Zach Butters and Tristan Sherry. It's a good spread, only one multiple goal kicker, which is King, who's got the 3. And other than that, they've got, so is that 8 different goal kickers? Yeah, 8 goal kickers in the game for Victoria. Meanwhile, for Western Australia, when we look at their lineup, 2 for Hogan, 2 for Charlie Cameron, and then singles for Jackson Warner, Bradley Hill and Jake Waterman make up the 8 goals that have been kicked by the West Australians. All right. The thoughts of Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woden coming up, just repeating a 22-point margin at halftime. I did mention about the jumper numbers, which people might be interested to learn how that all came about, given the fact that there are certain numbers that are very popular in footy teams, and when you put a combined side together like this, often there's a bit of competition on to see who gets what number. If multiple players request the same number, the deciding factor is AFL games played. So in the case of Caleb Sarong and Bailey Smith, Sarong 127 games played, Smith 126. So one game in the end got Caleb Sarong the nod. Bailey Smith did put an optimistic backup request in for number 0, which was denied, and so he's wearing the 2 3s. There's a bunch of guys that are in slightly altered numbers for various reasons. We mentioned Bradley Hill, who's wearing number 10, the number that he had success in at Hawthorn. Liam Baker and Jake Waterman both wearing numbers that they started with in their career before moving down the other end of the locker room. So Baker in 48, Waterman in 45. And Liam Baker, by the way, actually won a premiership in 48 back in 2019 before he moved to number 7 at the Tigers. So there's a few little changes around the competition. And as I mentioned a couple of times in the call, interestingly, Marcus Bontempelli, despite playing fewer games than Toby Green, is in number 4. Maybe the captain pulls rank. It's also interesting given the fact the captain for Victoria for a long period of time wore number 1 and the vice-captain number 2, and yet that's not the case here. So Green's in 1 and the Bont is in number 4.
I know that Nick Dacos is wearing 9 because he couldn't get... 8 because he couldn't get 35, and it was 3 plus 5.
And then Jack Sinclair, if you like the same sort of algorithm, these are 35 as well, and 5 take 3 is 2, so he's in number 2, Jack Sinclair. But Paddy Dangerfield, of course, for those of you wondering, wearing the number 35. All right, the thoughts of Wowie and Shaz. It's half-time here, Victoria by 22 points.
Certainly an entertaining game.
It is. I mean, it's just so high-skilled, and it's hard to defend from both sides' point of view. I think Victoria are probably able to defend a little bit better at the moment because WA's skill isn't quite at the same level as what we've seen from Victoria. But I like I said, I anticipate that the game will probably slow down a bit in the second half and potentially lean towards, the more traditional positions that WA have got able to be filled. We said throughout that quarter that Holmes playing on full back, it's going to get exposed at some stage. If they're able to transition a couple of times and get all the way down there, it's going to be really hard for Holmes lining up on, a big key forward.
Yeah. What do you make of that? I mean, I find it fascinating given the fact Chris Scott's the coach. So it's his player. Like, is he using the game to think, I might find something out that I didn't know he could do in this fixture?
Well, who else do they go to?
Oh, well, Collins was off the ground at that stage too. So they've still got the 3 talls there, and I think Collins, Stewart plays tall, and there's one, Battle. So I think it was a smaller one playing forward at that, or deep forward at that stage too. But he's certainly gone down back to play a role for him anyway when that injury went down and stuff. So,
but it is just the absolute domination at the moment by the Victorian mids who, they're now 50 odd disposals ahead, and it's all coming from Dacos, Sarong, Butters, Bontempelli, Merritt. Rao's been reasonably quiet, but he's still sticking his head in there in the contest and digging it out as he always does. But they're so slick.
Yeah, they're rotating through there. Well, I think they're just transitioning the ball a little bit more freer than what WA do. And
a little bit more laboured for WA, isn't it?
Yeah, a little more dump in. Hopefully you get ground level and kick there where it just seems to... how many marks inside 50 now for Victoria? 10 already marks inside 50. So, yeah, just unopposed. And they're generally uncontested, those ones, that I've seen anyway.
The reason I think that it felt as though WA were, able to claw back a little bit of momentum throughout that quarter was they won the turnover goals. So they were able to put on enough pressure at stages that actually resulted in them going the whole way down the other end of the field. Whereas for the first half. I think they had just the one. Just the one up until this quarter. So a lot of Victoria's, if we look, 6-5 from turnover. So it's a real big difference. Is that pressure around the ball and turnover through. I don't want to say poor disposal, but just not quite at the same level as we've seen from Victoria.
Like Victoria, 13 chains from defensive 50, 6 inside 50s for 3 goals, 2.
Yeah.
So the defence hasn't been great. And you don't expect it to this time of year too. And it's like there's still a little bit of labouring out there. But yeah, they are scoring quite easily from the back half.
Quick early impressions. I mean, this is pretty cool, isn't it? You got a full house. There's 55,000 here. You got 50 of, let's say, the best 80 players in the game that are running around. Might even be better than that, given some of the names that are on the sheet. Surely this is a better way to launch the season than, hey, it's now time for the practice games and it's GWS versus Sydney or whatever.
It's awesome, isn't it? I mean, it is absolutely awesome.
Well supported.
And the turnout has been amazing. I know there was some turnstile issues at the start.
Actually,
seem to have filled in.
Speaking of that, Optus Stadium has said officially that they do apologise to fans impacted by delays at the gates. What had happened, a combination of a late arriving crowd, which is typical of him here in WA. We always turn up very late. And the change to the enhanced ticketing system, which means you can no longer just get a screenshot, which people did here for 10 years, and get that scanned. You actually have to have the ticket transferred into your name.
So how can a QR reader or whatever it is, a barcode reader, tell the difference between the app image or a photograph of...
That's a great question, Jared, and you're looking at exactly the two wrong blokes to ask that to.
It is very commonplace.
There's your task for the week. Find out.
Why would they change it?
It is very commonplace of the rest of the world that you can't use screenshots. So even I was lucky enough to go to the US recently and go to sporting events over there. It explicitly says on your ticket you cannot screenshot this. This must be added into your wallet on your phone or whatever it turns out.
Well, they have to make... maybe it is easy now, but I remember a couple of years ago it was so hard to spit out your tickets to the other people. So say one person organises 4 tickets.
I can say genuinely, having come to any number of Scorchers games as a punter on my holidays and buying tickets for the whole family, and I mean the extended family, and I would buy them all and then send 4 to one of my brother-in-laws and send another 2 to one of my other brother-in-laws. They have fixed the system, but it is different, and the days of being able to just screenshot them, they're gone. And I understand that this has only just come in. People have been caught by it, but the system works, but it did mean that fans needed a long time to get this stuff sorted, and so that was the reason for the inconvenience. But I understand why fans are furious. I absolutely get it. I also understand why Perth Stadium have just gone, look, this has been in place now, and it was certainly in place for the BBL. Absolutely in place for that as well.
Can I have a go at answering your question? Let's see how this goes. I'm pretty certain with the barcodes, they actually update every 60 seconds. So I think you get a new barcode which stops you screenshotting it. So basically your QR code constantly changes. So then, if you send it to someone else, they've got 59 seconds to get it sorted or whatever it turns out to be, and then you get a new one. So it's constantly a unique barcode, I think is the answer. But
it was one of the right guys.
I stand to be
Do you believe him?
I stand to be correct.
I couldn't even... I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. They had to contest it.
I think it's really important to admit what you don't know. I don't know. I'll believe Corbin.
I think that's my experience with this previously.
Makes sense.
Victoria by 22 points. The injury side of it, which is inescapable talking point when it comes to Origin. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure, as we work our way through. And hopefully we get a bit better information around Jacob Wheeldon. We know he's been hospitalised. They were being very cautious with the neck. He landed on the plane surface at the same time that Mitch Georgiades landed on top of him in a marking contest, and as he was side on at the time and basically crunched him into the turf, which, as you can imagine, doesn't have a whole lot of give in it. And as a result, Jacob Wheeldon, his day was done midway through the opening quarter. Will Power's been nursing a sore right shoulder. Mitch Georgiades had his hamstring looked at but did come back onto the ground. So that's the injury front out of both teams.
During an emergency,
phone reception off and on, no internet and no TV reception even with our generator.
Find your local ABC radio station.
Thank you for being with us.
ABC Radio is your emergency broadcaster.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
In case you missed it. The 2026 AFL State of Origin. Western Australia versus Victoria. Live from Perth Stadium.
Dangos wasn't able to escape and deliver. Georgiades with the free kick to English. Doesn't mark, but can play on by hand. He got the advantage from being spoiled anyway. Came to Hill, inside forward 50. Waterman from 51 out at left half forward. The stadium will tell you what he's done.
Warner just wrong foot Bontempelli. Darts out of the middle for WA. Long kick to full forward. Georgiades and Waterman fly. Ball hits the deck. Bolton threw his arms back. Wanted a free. He's going to get it. WA take the advantage. They get a Cameron goal. And this game is right back on. Merritt, hand pass to Dacos. Handball to Dangerfield. Back to Dacos. The walls close in. He almost turns it over. Dangerfield helps out. Hands it off towards Ben King for his third. He's got it. And Victoria settle it down.
Warner kicks high up into the air. It'll go towards full foot. Pickett set himself. He flew. Spills down at the back. Hill. Brad Hill runs it along the ground and between the big sticks for a major for WA. They go back-to-back with goals.
2026 AFL Origin.
On radio, on digital, and on ABC Listen.
Sounds there from the second quarter. It's an interesting one. Victoria got it all the way out to 27 points at one stage. WA got back within 9, and then the Vics just steadying up. They kicked 4 of the last 6 goals in the quarter and lead by 22. They've won both terms so far. So a 20-point advantage at quarter time became a 22-point advantage at the half. Now, this is ABC Sport. Great to have you with us, whether you're with us on ABC Radio or through ABC Sport on your digital radio, perhaps on ABC Listen, which is a great app that you can download and you can stay across everything that's going on. You can make your decision in real time as to what you want to listen to, given the fact that there's so much sport being played concurrently, including the T20 World Cup. Now, there are 3 games every day for the first 13 days. And the place to find it is on the ABC Listen app. Just look out for that white cricket ball and you can follow along, ball-by-ball coverage of the whole tournament, just to bring you up to date with what's happening there. So England winning the toss and deciding to field against Scotland. So Scotland are currently 3 for 104. This game's interesting because England lost to the West Indies, so they have no margin for error. They must be beating their European neighbours in Scotland and Italy to progress through to the last 8. And they've never beaten a European nation in T20 World Cup history. So 3 for 105, Scotland at the moment batting first against England. So that's after 12 overs. There was a game earlier which saw Ireland defeat Oman by 96 runs. And there's a game later tonight which will see New Zealand take on South Africa. So that's just after midnight Australian Eastern Daylight Time. You can find it all through ABC Listen. Off the SMS, your thoughts, 0467 920 222. Danny says the goal kicking is much more precise when 4 points aren't on the line. Corbin Middlemas, Clint Wheeldon calling the footy. Mitch Turner's on the boundary. Sharad Wellingham and Shamwo Woden, your analysts. Wowie, and shows the new rule tweaks that we've seen. So the lasso out of bounds and the crossing the centre line too early in the ruck contest. What has it caught your eyes? The game looked dramatically different. What's been your first impressions?
My first impressions of the crossing the line are great because it's forcing both rucks to just launch at the ball.
Yep.
And so we're not seeing just the little dinky drops. So I think the mids are able to actually get a little bit more dynamic at the stoppage, which is why we've seen a number of centre bounce to score.
Yes, there's 5 or 6 goals from centre bounce already. Yeah, I love that rule. You know, allowing the rucks to jump again. It'll be interesting too. I think this rule was brought in when there was the PCL injuries and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see if, and fingers crossed that doesn't happen, what they do after that. But
can't jump with your knee. You're just going to have to jump like a basketball jump, I don't know.
No, but the others haven't affected to date that I've seen or anything, so last touch.
We've had there's been a couple of the lasso rule, but nothing contentious. It's been pretty clean and clear.
Bill off the SMS, last touch out of bounds. Has it not been paid tonight? Thank God if that's the case. The game doesn't need it from Bill. Just repeating, of course, it is last disposal, not last touch, and it is being played. Second half underway, Clint Wheeldon.
And Gorn won it down. It went to Rao, wrapped up by Warner immediately. There'll be another ball up just on the outer edge of the centre circles. Second half underway. Victoria leading by 22 points. The other side can get a clearance here. Umpire will circle and eventually will ball it up again. Dacos with 17 disposals leads all comers. Clark and Hill for WA, the most with 12. And the restart, Bontempelli Gets a kick through traffic. Inside forward 50 for Victoria. Lob, though. Read it well. Gave it to Taylor. Hand pass over the top. Back to Lob. Tackled by King straight away. Taken down the ground. It'll be a ball up right half forward for Victoria. Mitch Turner is downstairs. Mitch.
Will Powell came back out with the WA side, so he might be good to go. No sign of Mitch Georgiades yet, so might still have an issue with that hamstring.
Darcy Cameron got rid of King in the ruck contest, but his kick was pretty much up and down in the elevator shaft. It hits the deck again. Pickett tries to knock it forward. McCluggage punches it back, but straight to Darcy Cameron for WA. Kicks towards the commentary wing. Gone out after it. Couldn't mark. Off his hands, though. Down to Butters. Inside forward 50. Taylor spoils over the shoulder of Green. Spill down to Hill, and he'll measure the pass out towards right half back. Romero marks.
Jaeger O'Meara, boy from Dongra. And the short kick finds Archie. On your way up to the Gascoyne, by the way, for people unaware of where that is, and up north of Perth. And the kick goes all the way back to Taylor, and he switches play. One back flank to the other, to Barris. Untidy kick, but Baker reads it well, takes the mark. Short kick makes Darcy Cameron work for it and sprawls to take it on the turf. Handball back to Baker. Sells his way around McCluggage. Runs, carries and kicks inside 50. Not a good kick. And the intercept mark for Lockie Ash. Picks it from Aaron Norton, who was standing all alone at centre half forward. The skill error lets down the West Coast co-captain. The Vic's back the other way. Bontempelli back to Ash. Hand pass away to Butters. Gives it to Rao. Kicks to centre half forward. And here's Green. Rides the contact from Barris. Marks.
Kicks him in the head.
Turns. Looks inside the forward pocket. And a mark taken relatively straightforward again by Ben King. Mitch Turner on the boundary.
Yeah, just confirmation. Mitch Georgiades has just emerged with the shorts and the training shirts on and the joggers. So he is out of the game with hamstring awareness.
Thanks, Mitch. So Wheeldon hospitalised after a collision earlier in the game in the first quarter, and now Georgiades done after a half. One from each team down to 24. And here's Ben King, the last man to get a start in Origin. He misses out to the right and behind. It was the late inclusion for Jeremy Cameron. He's kicked 3, the only multiple goal kicker in the Vic's team.
Chance here for Clark to go forward. Stabs it short with the kicking duties to Cornelio. Option on in the right back pocket. Instead, he'll go short again to Clark. Has to go down onto 1 knee to take the mark. Still inside his defensive 50. Cornelio runs by, receives the hand pass, moves it short by foot to Baker, who marks. Immediately on to Rivers. He takes a bounce on the northern wing. Here's Hill. Dangerous hand pass. Went awry, straight to Rao, but he was at least tackled, as far as WA was concerned, by Cornelio, which is where I'm sure the hand pass was meant to go. So no damage done on that occasion. From the restart, it's thrown up. Dawn against Cameron, neither with the telling tap. Spill down here to Cornelio. Hand pass to Cameron. Got a kick away. Darcy Cameron inside forward 50. Spoil came from Ash. Out in the direction, though, of Stewart. Still with him, though, is Bolton. Stewart's done really well to keep it away from Bolton. Continues to try to tap it on the ground. Knocked by Sinclair. Only as far as Hardwick. Ball come out the side. It's taken high then, Pickett. Chasing the football. Got one across the chops. And he'll get the free kick. He put in boots a ball just better than a 45-degree angle to the left from around about 49 metres out. It was up against McCluggage. And McCluggage, while he was trying to get the football, made contact with the head of Cozzy Pickett. He was busy early, the 25 All-Australian. Yet to trouble the scorers. Won a premiership on this ground with Melbourne. Here he comes. Pickett from 49 metres out. The kick is on its way. It won't have the carry, and the big frame of Max Gawn takes the defensive grab on the behind line for Victoria.
Some of the polish might have come off a little at half-time. Hand pass to Battle. And he gives it over to Stewart. Long kick down the wing. Got to Green eventually, and he takes the mark. One-on-one contest. Just checks the kick back over the man on the mark. Finds his teammate against the boundary line. In Richards. Richards keeps it moving. Dacos kicks inside the forward 50. There's more intervention from the umpire. Another whistle on the play and another free kick going the Vic's way. Noah Anderson, who'll get it against the boundary line. There's been enough feeling in it. Bit of push and shove. And that continues here early in the third. Victoria by 23. Anderson comes inboard and Sinclair drops in the hole. Takes the mark left half forward. Turned 31 on Thursday. Jack Sinclair actually shares the same birthday, same year as Jesse Hogan, who also turned 31 on Thursday. There's two things I'm sure you didn't know, and I'm sure the boys don't know or care either, but that's the case. It's Jack Sinclair as he kicks from 48 metres out. The drop punt from the Saint doesn't get there. It's a rinse and repeat. Same at the other end. The ruckman takes an intercept mark on the behind line. It's Darcy Cameron deep in defence for WA. The Vicks by 23.
Goes across the face of goal. The kick needed to be precise, and it was just. And he was able to find Hill, who then switches play again from the right back pocket to the left back pocket. It comes to Rivers, runs around Darcy, hands it off to Hill. Sweeps a hand pass to Barris, bounces just in front of him. Hands were good from Barris, and then he gathered and Pickett juggles the mark but takes it. Needed to do as well. Battle was right there for any mistake. Pickett turned it over. That's a disappointing kick. Chopping it off there. Butters kicks inside forward 50, backing back. Barris flew, had his arms chopped. Darcy thought the ball had fallen his way with an open goal beckoning, but the free kick will be here for the Eagles premiership player and now Hawthorn defender. Goes back to Rivers, who's been busy at full back. Kick to the outer side. Richards climbs up into the back of Warner. Used him as the step ladder. Takes a good mark for Victoria. Kick comes again to Holmes. He's 55 out from goal. He looks to go all the way and touched by Lobb, who would not let it go. Over the line for a rush behind. 11-10 now Victoria. They're 76. WA 8-4-52. 8 gone in the third. Origin footy on ABC Radio and Sport Digital.
In those 8 minutes, 2 behinds for Victoria. No score for WA. Slow start to the second half. Barris to Clark. Clark a hack kick out of defence and turns it straight over. Rowell takes the intercept mark. The Vicks keep it in their front half. Gives it to Battle. Spears a kick inside 50 and Dacos picks it out of the pocket of his own teammate McCluggage. And a little chant from Collingwood coming up for his 19th disposal.
Losing Georgiades, not great structurally, particularly coming in back half. WA don't have any tools, and even tools are playing real deep. Sam Taylor come off the ground then too after that initial contest in D50 and just walked straight off the ground.
Can you get your thoughts, Sharrod and Wowie, about the two medals? Who would be the front runners at this stage? Nick Dacos well in the conversation. He's kicked there out to the left. In the end, it doesn't score. Kept alive in the goal square. WA under pressure. Clark hand pass away to Baker. He's tackled. Smith's got him holding the ball. And there's that new interpretation again. The umpire said he tried to shrug the tackle. And so Bailey Smith will get a gift 12 metres out right in front. Gee, that's hot. You touched on this in the pre-game, Shaz, about the difficulty being able to differentiate between shrugging a tackle and just trying to evade sort of your natural instinct as soon as you get the ball. Almost better off would have been just surrendering in the tackle. Smith squeezes it through and Baker pays the ultimate price. Victoria by 30 points. It's a new game high, 9 minutes into the third term. The Vicks with the opening goal of the second half, 12-10 to 8-4. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
I haven't seen a replay yet, but my immediate interpretation was that he was trying to back out of the contest, change direction. Oh, okay, so he's dropped the ball, Baker, and then the second tackle of Smith's come in. Not really much prior disposal when it's knocked out in the previous contest, is it?
Oh, yeah. Is it a shrug? We tried to evade it.
And that's what we're asking the umpires to do now. Yep. Saying, look, hey, if you shrug, that's your prior.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, his alternative is to just grab it and handball it blindly.
The restart. Cripps gets a hand pass away for WA. Hands it off to O'Meara. On in turn to Powell. Back on the ground. Long kick to a 2-on-2 inside forward 50. And Waterman goes up into the air and takes a mark for WA. Deep in the left forward pocket. No more than 20 from goal. He'll start close enough to the boundary line. Had to do with Stewart, which is no mean feat. Broke free, took the mark. Jake Waterman. Kicked an important goal for WA earlier in this game, and he's been able to do that yet again. Curling it through for his second. A vital one, just to keep the locals in touch. Victoria's lead back to 24 points. They're 12-10-82. WA 9-4-54. 11 gone in the third.
It's good to see WA rolling the Magnus. Will Powell playing as an inside mid too. He wouldn't have done that hell of a lot at the Gold Coast. He extracted that last clearance for WA on that scoring chain, so good exposure for him. Better get Dacos out the line of the ball.
You got some contenders for me, the Graham Moss and the EJ Whitten medal. Who do we think will be up there among the contenders?
Oh, for WA, I think O'Meara started the game really well, helping with their transition.
The ruck went early in Sherry, picked up by English, shovels a kick forward for Western Australia, and then follows up. Traps the footy, got it to Cripps, hands it out to Shea Bolton, who's off and running. Shea kicks all the way to the behind line, punched away from Waterman. Nice work, Collins. Norton had it, lost it, spills out towards Hardwick, and a surge kick out of defence. Still not clear for Victoria. Baker's there and has it wrestled from him by Smith. Wins the one-on-one on the ground. Got it out to Anderson, to Dacos, hand pass to Butters, short kick to Sherry. The Vicks with plenty of numbers and plenty of run. Holmes gives it to McCluggage, handball out to Sarong, back to Holmes, another looping hand pass away to Anderson. His look away handball, a turnover. Rivers had it, he lost it. McCluggage hands it out, back to Rivers. WA with it again.
Rivers by hand, moves it on to Charlie Cameron, then to Norton. Moved to Rivers again by hand, who kicks in the direction of Waterman. Marks it left half forward. Charlie Cameron continues his run. Desperate to receive the footy. Waterman's kick goes that way. 65 out from goal. Hard up against the boundary left half forward. The kick into the left forward pocket. Waiting underneath it. Archie at the back. Taken then by Bolton, who runs into the goal square and kicks another one for WA. Back-to-back majors for the locals. And they move back to within 3 goals. Victoria 12-10-82. WA 10-4-64. 13 gone in the third.
There's a crowd to life a little bit.
Yeah.
They dropped away there for 5 or 6 minutes.
Some really good in-tight handballs. I think Rivers was involved in the chain, and so was Cameron at that turnover at a kind of half-back, traditional half-back position. Cameron, work rate, gets involved in the chain to get it inside 50 again. So there's still some belief there. There's still some, hope from WA's point of view that they can keep fighting. And so they keep drawing them back, not letting them get away. I was worried he was going to get tackled then, Bolton. He took that extra couple of steps.
18-point lead for the Vicks, couple in a row for WA. Again, they hang about in the game. Butters waxes with his boyhood idol, Bontempelli. The Bont out of the middle, kicks inside the forward 50 for Victoria. Running out after it, Barris leads King in the chase for the footy and takes the intercept mark. So WA with a bit of momentum. Hand pass away to Hill. Long kick for the Sandgropers. Bolton does well to shake Sinclair and wins the one-on-one. Turns, kicks down to half forward. Waterman marks 60 from home. Crowd lifting. Kicks inside 50. Norton just out of reach. Traps it. Handball to Jackson. Goal. It's a 12-point game. And the Sandgropers are right back in town. After falling behind by a game-high 30 points, they've strung 3 in a row together. Jackson with his second. 12-point margin. Victoria 12-10 lead. WA 11-4. 15 gone in the third.
You mentioned Georgiades going down at the moment. Waterman's playing that role really well. That link outside, just outside 50. Tried to bite off a pretty tough kick there, trying to hit up Norton, but it was still out in front. Norton was able to, scoop it up nicely. But it is those positional players that they're relying on at the moment. Tom Barras doing a great job in the defensive 50 with the turnover mark as well.
He does come at the footy well, Waterman, doesn't he? He's a real good hit up. Bolton's come into his own a little bit too in this quarter. I think to answer your question too, Corb, Bontempelli, Butters probably leading it from a Victorian point of view.
English wins the tap for WA, but it came out to Sarong. Got a hand pass forward for Bailey Smith to run on to, but Clark coming the other way, got there first. Hand pass to Warner. Just got the kick away, but turns it over. It was under pressure, and Sinclair marks defensively. Top of his 50 arc. Kick goes to the other side. Butters under pressure, and Baker couldn't take the mark. It spills away from him, and the footy tumbles across. There's going to be a free kick here, is there?
Yeah, come off his boot.
Oh, well, we've seen that once or twice. Unfortunately, today it has come off Butters' boot on the replay, which means Baker will get the free kick. Toby Green was very clever earlier, actually kicking it into opponent's shins. Basketball style. You get that ball over, kicks inside forward 50, and a big fly comes from Hogan. Great mark. Thought about playing on with players streaming by him. Hogan is at right half forward, 55 from goal. Wants Jackson. Bontempelli got up. Archie dragged it in. Hand pass for Waterman. Threw it on hand over the shoulder. Pickett tries to soccer it out of midair. That was inventive. Didn't work. Holmes goes defensively beyond defensive 50. It goes again towards Humphrey. Short hand pass and taken high here. It'll come back to Clark. Forward of halfway in the centre square.
WA running hot. Clark kicks inside 50. Turnover. Butters drops in the hole. Takes the defensive mark. Centre half back for Victoria. Oh, pulls the trigger dangerously into the middle. Wanted Sarong. No mark. Darcy helps out. Gives it to Bontempelli. Kicks inside a vacant forward 50. Running downhill. Gunston's onto it. Joe the Goose over the top to Ben King, who slams it through for his fourth.
Wasn't a kick by Clark.
And again, Victoria just makes sure they keep WA at arm's length. 3-goal advantage for the Vics. 13-10-88 WA, 11-4-70, 17 and a half gone third term. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
Probably the decision by Clark there probably wasn't on.
Yeah.
Got to hit up inside 50. Had to be perfect.
And it's a it's a trampoline spot right there, isn't it?
See you later.
Turn it over there. It's a slingshot out the other end.
And they're pressing high too, WA.
Taylor on the bench.
He's been off for a while.
If you've just joined us, by the way, Jacob Wiedering for Victoria and Carlton taken to hospital with an injury after being crunched onto the ground by Georgiades, who, by the way, is also out after, we believe, a hamstring injury. A restart, taken to ground. Bontempelli wraps up. Clark will get the free kick and he'll decide to dispose of it by hand. Came to Hill for WA. Now to Cripps, the captain. Hands it forward to Powell. He runs to right half forward, stabs it inside forward 50, and Waterman's on the end of it for WA. Looking to make it a 2-goal game again. On both occasions, when the spotlight has been on him, Jake Waterman, he's delivered.
Small sample size, but just a freedom around centre bounce and an easier clearance in just a 2.5 quarters compared to what we've seen last year.
Winning goal kicker for WA in 2024. He was an All-Australian that year as well, the 27-year-old. Boots cross the 50. This time he misses. A minor score. 17 points the lead of Victoria. 13-10 plays 11-5. 19 gone in the third. This is Origin footy on ABC Sport.
Round 11, the last time we saw him last year, Jake Waterman missed the end of the year with that shoulder injury. The exiting kick is picked off. Darcy Cameron takes the intercept mark. Hand pass away to Hill. Puts it inside the forward 50. Keziah Pickett. He marks in front of his mate Max Gawn and just rubs shoulders with him too as he goes back to take his kick at left half forward. His premiership teammate and skipper Max Gawn, of course, they won that flag on this very patch. Cozzy Pickett moves in, drop punt. He's out to the right, to behind. Victoria by 16. WA threatening. 20 minutes gone in the third. Origin footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner on the boundary.
A bit of a loss for WA here as they try and claw their way back. Sam Taylor is out of the game with hamstring awareness, Corbin, so that's a big loss.
That's an enormous loss for them defensively. WA, meantime, will scoop it up at right half back through Clark. Hand pass to Humphries. Stabs a short foot pass taken by Darcy Cameron, just shy of the centre circles. Moves it by foot out to the northern wing. Cornelio gathers. Humphries continued his run. Gets the hand pass back. Kicks long in the direction of Hogan. Had 2 goes at it. Knocked away by Stewart. Norton tries to gather under pressure coming from Battle. Ball across the boundary line deep in the left forward pocket. That margin remains 16 points in favour of Victoria. We've just headed into time on in this third term. WA have missed 2 good goal-scoring opportunities. They're back inside their forward 50. Can they convert now? Throwing in again. Cameron front position. Darcy won it down. Trying to pick it up, Sinclair. Cameron might have been taken high. He was. Charlie attacked the footy. He got taken around the neck. And he'll have a free kick. Hard up against the boundary, deep in the left forward pocket. Two goals today for Charlie Cameron. Twice an All-Australian, twice a premiership player. The past 2 seasons with the Brisbane Lions. Charlie Cameron looks to curl it around. He's missed the lot, put it across the face. Just didn't make contact, and the mark has been taken defensively by Gawn. He'll have it at left full back. Still, that score remains 16 points the lead of Victoria. 22 gone in the third.
Gee, you'd ordinarily like him from there, Charlie Cameron. Left forward pocket, snapping across the body. In the end, just didn't hit it at all. Here's Dangerfield, who hits up marks at half-back for Victoria. 16-point lead for the Vics. Long kick down the wing, and Barris floats through, takes the intercept mark. And the dangerous Hawk and Premiership Eagle comes corridor. Cornelio looking for a runner alongside him. He's got it in Baker. Short kick for the West Australians, finds Waterman. He's going to go back and across to Cornelio. And now Giants veteran out of Upper Swan originally. Kicks inside the forward 50, punched away by Hardwick for the Vics. Down to Anderson, handball to Merritt across the half-back line. He gives it to the Brownlow medalist, Matt Rao. Tumbles a kick down the wing. Oh, Humphries just nutmegged himself. Between his legs it goes. Picked up by King on his knees. Hand pass to the Bond. Handball away to Gunston. Feeds it to Dacos. Hand pass into an unguarded goal square. Getting back there first, Green. He's just got to pick it up. Shakes Baker. Snaps. Goals. And they've had every answer. It's been the story of the night. Victoria again just fighting off the WA push. 22-point lead for the Vics as it was at half-time. Toby's got his second. 14-10-94 Victoria. WA 11-6-72. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
That's both the last 2 goals from Victoria have been a transition turnover from the top of the 50, where a lot of players are instructed not to really kick it unless the player's completely open. And that was a lead-up mark, and once again just goes from one end to the other.
Thought Archie could have gone at it. They got crack at it to mark the ball too. He chose not to, and yeah, a couple of fundamental errors there from WA2 there on ground ball, which cost you in the end.
Restart again. WA need to find something once more. Bolton tries to race away from Dacos, who gets him, completes the tackle, ran him down. He's on by hand to Bailey Smith. Sweeping hand pass to Butters on the northern wing for Victoria. Kicks to right half forward. Rao gets a free kick. It's against Baker. He wants to play on immediately. He'll do so. Moving on towards Green. And he marks hard up against the boundary, right with a 50-metre arc. Intersects it. The kick is into the right forward pocket. No mark taken. Bontempelli there for Victoria. Hands it off to Rao. Gives it to Darcy. Back to Smith. Now to Butters. 51 out from goal. Pops it in the direction of McCluggage. Great spoil, Barris. Rose and punches it towards the boundary line, and then chest bumps every WA player in the vicinity. Throw in right forward pocket for Victoria. They're up by 22 points. 25 gone in the third.
Just bumps his mate, Cameron.
Loved it.
22-point game. Boundary throw in. Dacos keeps his feet. Squeezes the kick out. It's smothered though. Likewise Warner. Back into the rubble. Picked up by Baker. Look away handball straight to Smith. Half forward for the Vics. Kicks to the top of the goal square and Broad takes the intercept mark. And WA gets something going on the open side. Kicks out wide to Cornelio. And the number 3 cuts inboard, finds Lawson Humphries, the most inexperienced player in the WA team. Hand pass back to Cornelio, runs, takes a bounce, butchers it, turns it over, and Ash takes the intercept mark for the Vicks. 22-point game, Victoria lead. Short kick to Bontempelli. And the class lefty inside the forward 50. Green makes contact with his former teammate Lobb. Can't take the mark. Wayne Harms-esque whacks it back inboard to King. Hand pass to Dangerfield. Through traffic. Kicks to the goal square, turnover. And Humphries mops it up away to Rivers. And he dishes off a handball to Cornelio.
And Cornelio turns it over. He had 3 options and found the one wearing a Victorian jumper. In the middle of them, it's Bontempelli, the captain who marks for Victoria. Attacking edge of the centre square, and he turns it over again. Looking for King, floating across in front, Jackson. He marks. He's on a short run. Kicks towards right half back. Hogan is there. Couldn't mark against Hardwick, but can regather the football. Moved it short on the bounce, taken by English for WA. To Cornelio. Back to Hogan, just forward of right half forward. Kicking into the centre square. Underneath it, Bontempelli. Free kick goes against Hill. Getting high over the shoulder. Bontempelli will take it for Victoria, their captain, and they still lead by 22 points. 27 gone in the third.
He's now the leading possession getter on the ground, Marcus Bontempelli. He's across the ground to Stewart. Short kick to Hardwick. He moves it further afield. The handball goes into the path of Nick Dacos. Kicks into the forward 50, and the ball slides through off the boot for a behind. So we can put it down next to Victorian number 8, Nick Dacos. And that makes the lead 23 Victoria's way. Time on in the third.
WA move it from beyond their defensive 50. Here's Humphries at left half back now. Gives it to Waterman. Back to Humphries. Receives the hand pass on the run. The kick was very precise. Just over the top of Richards. Drops into Bolton, who marks. WA have had chances in this quarter, but Waterman missed one he'd normally kick. So too did Pickett. So too did Cameron. Kick deep inside forward 50 for WA. And a fine grab in a pack to Stewart. He got one around the back of the head for his troubles as well. Geelong Cat, outstanding effort. Here it comes to Ash. Takes a bounce to Victoria. He's able to hit Green on the chest. Just forward of left half back. He's got runners streaming forward. Holds onto the footy for a moment to assess his options.
Spears the kick. Finds Sinclair. Genuflects to take the mark and then moves it on a little further. Dangerfield. 60 metres out, half forward, turns, kicks to an unguarded goal square. Dangerfield with a long bomb. He knocks that through from downtown. And Victoria's lead out to 29 again. And Patrick Dangerfield with an eye for the sticks. And Victoria with a nice cushion again in this game. 15-11-101, WA 11-6-72. Approaching the half-hour mark in the third. Origin footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemas, Clint Wheeldon, Mitch Turner on the boundary. Shane Woden, the Brownlow medalist. And the Premiership pie, Sharrod Wellingham.
Do you reckon he was going for goal? I think
he was going for Bailey.
He was going for Bailey, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But it's just trickled through perfectly.
He'll take it, though.
The skill definitely hasn't dropped off under fatigue, which is what I was anticipating was going to give WA the greatest chance of fighting back, but Crean is continuing to rise to the top.
Let's head downstairs. Mitch Turner on the boundary. Mitch.
Just one to watch for this last part of the game. Matt Rouse headed down the race with the doctors, so couldn't see what the obvious problem was, but down the race.
WA win the clearance. Warner got it away to Jackson. Kicks inside forward 50. Bolton juggles the mark in front of Holmes. He marks it 48 out from goal. Slightly worse than being in line with the left hand behind post. WA the last 3 times they've had opportunities. Waterman with a behind, Pickett with a behind, and then Cameron, who you would normally put your house on, missed everything to have it marked by Gawn after he pushed it across the face of goal. Victoria lead by 29 points. Bolton has 1 so far. Dual premiership player with the Tigers, now with the Dockers. And he's now home deck, and that kick is poor. It's out to the right. Still a chance to stay in play. Off hands, big pack up, spills down. Getting it away, Stewart moved it to Smith, and he's going to send it across the boundary line, and that will be last disposal out of bounds.
Push, I think.
Surely. Oh, no, it's come back. You're right, the push. So he'll get the free kick instead then. Bailey Smith just inside his defensive 50. Not a lot of it, but yeah, Pickett had hands, 2 hands into the back. Free kicks there, and WA fans give their traditional welcome for such a decision. It came towards right half back. Here's Collins, and he looked to move it on again to Holmes.
Holmes on the wing in a more familiar position. He was fullback in the second quarter on occasions. Heads down the line to King. Short to Gunston. All-Australian for a second time last year, 7 years after his first. And a premiership hawk kicks to the goal square. Barris, the intercept mark, and that's his trademark. Part of that sensational West Coast Eagles defence of 2018. And keeps it moving. Bradley Hill off the back flank, kicks down the line, finds Keziah Pickett, southern boundary line, moves it on. Tough one for the big man English to collect. Got it on the hop, under pressure, kicks inside 50, kicks too wide. One bounce out of play. That's not a bad result in the end for WA. They'll get a forward 50 stoppage and a boundary throw in. Mitch Turner on the boundary.
It's a finger for Matt Rowell that has him down in the room. It's a finger issue.
Thanks, Mitch. Concerns around Jacob Wiedering's neck. He was hospitalised after a collision in the opening quarter, and Mitch Georgiades and Sam Taylor both done with hamstring awareness from the boundary throw-in. That will see us out through 3 quarters, and Victoria have won each of them so far. Despite Western Australia's best efforts, we've seen the WA boys close the gap on a number of occasions. They got within 9 points after falling 27 behind in the second quarter, and in that term they fell 30 behind before getting it back within 12. And yet at 3-quarter time, it is Victoria who lead by 29 points. The Vics by 20 at quarter time, 22 at the half, and now 29 points through 3. 15-11-101. They lead WA 11-6-72. Now the goal kickers, Victoria have had 10 of those. 3 multiple goal kickers. Ben King's got 4, 2 each for Toby Green and Hugh McCluggage. And then singles down the page for Bontempelli, Merritt, Dacos, Butters, Smith, Dangerfield and Sherry. Meanwhile, for Western Australia, they've had 7 goal kickers. They've had 4 multiple goal kickers, the most in the game. 2 each for Jackson, Hogan, Charlie Cameron and Waterman. And then singles for Bolton, Hill and Chad Warner kicked the first of the game. Clint, Corby and colleagues, it doesn't get any better. The return of footy welcomes summer rain with the beautiful cloud show. Transplanting natives with no headlamp yet necessary. Life is good. Woohoo. Go WA against the odds from Rick in Margaret River. Rick, it's always nice to hear from you, and so it is again for a new season. Keep them coming on the SMS 0467 920 222. Is there another twist in this Origin fixture yet? Final term coming up. The thoughts of Shane Woewodin and Sharad Wellingham in just a moment. The Vics by 29, Origin footy on ABC Sport.
The 2026 AFL State of Origin. Western Australia versus Victoria. Live from Perth Stadium.
Kept alive in the goal square. WA under pressure. Clark, hand pass away to Baker. He's tackled. Smith's got him holding the ball. And there's that new interpretation again. The umpire said he tried to shrug the tackle. And so Bailey Smith will get a gift 12 metres out right in front. Smith squeezes it through. And Baker pays the ultimate price.
Waterman's kick goes that way. 65 out from goal, hard up against the boundary left half forward. The kick into the left forward pocket, waiting underneath it. Archie at the back, taken then by Bolton, who runs into the goal square and kicks another one for WA.
Bolton does well to shape Sinclair and wins the one-on-one. Turns, kicks down to half forward. Waterman marks 60 from home, crowd lifting, kicks inside 50. Norton just out of reach, traps it, handball to Jackson, goal! It's a 12-point game. Sinclair, genuflects to take the mark and then moves it on a little further. Dangerfield, 60 metres out, half forward, turns, kicks to an unguarded goal square. Dangerfield with a long bomb. He knocks that through from downtown.
2026 AFL Origin.
On radio, on digital and on ABC Listen.
Partisan home crowd here in Perth. The home team down by 29. They've got a bit to do. 15-11-101 Victoria. They lead WA 11-6-72. Corbin Middlemas and Clint Wheeldon calling the footy. Mitch Turner's on the boundary. And the thoughts of the Brownlow medalist Shane Woewodin and the Premiership Pie Sharad Wellingham.
First half of that quarter, I thought WA blew some opportunities to really gain some ascendancy and probably even get in front of the scoreboard. Missed some opportunities inside 50, and then Victoria were able to capitalise and go down the other end and probably stretch this game a little bit too far, and certainly a turnover game as we've seen throughout. And I thought that quarter, the big three mids for Victoria, and certainly Bontempelli had a real influence on and a big say on the contest, and Butters and Dacos too. So, and you made it off the top, Sharad. Just the amount of players they can roll through that engine room and the class they have, in particular between the arcs, just able to get on top in WA, particularly in transitions, and get the footy going forward.
I do feel that both teams can score very quickly. Like, it was a 9-point margin at one stage, wasn't it?
They got close.
Got to 9 points, and so we saw, obviously, Victoria just put the foot down and blow it back out to 29 points now. So both sides can score quickly. Is 29 points insurmountable? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not this type of game.
Yeah, but is it likely? It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. They've got to lift their skill level and just try and slow down Victoria when they've got their hands on the footy. Play, really smart football through the corridor in terms of clogging it up, because their transition has been able to go from one end to the other through the corridor. I'd also, maybe as the forwards coach, say stop kicking it to the top of the 50 to 50-50 contests, and get it deep and let Hogan create a contest and get some crummers down around his feet. But it's going to be a tough task for WA.
Leaders in the medals. Graham Moss medal, best player on the field for WA. EJ Witten medal, best Victorian out there. Who are we looking at?
It's only Bont for Victoria.
Yep.
WA, I'd probably say Bolton's had the influence, I think. Bradley Hill's been effective in some ways. Hard with WA.
It's hard. Can I throw a vote for the defenders?
Yeah.
Barras has been...
a lot of marks, big marks down there, hasn't he? And big spoils.
Yep. Yes.
They never get any votes to defenders.
No.
He's been great.
I think Shea Bolton's... He probably has the most distinctive gait in the way that he moves. He's probably the smoothest mover. I know there's a lot of competition out there, but just the way that he moves and the way he's sort of unmissable in the way that he gets around the field, Shea Bolton, and certainly always a spark when it goes near him. The World Cup's on. You can find it through the ABC Listen app. That's the Cricket World Cup in the T20 format. Scotland and England. Scotland 9 for 152. So 152, that's in the 20th over, their final over of their innings. They're playing England. So you can find that through ABC Listen. Just look out for the white World Cup button. There's more cricket action continues tomorrow. Of course, we are in middle of February. This was once well and truly cricket season. It's much more disputed territory these days. But the women's series starts tomorrow, the multi-format series between Australia and India. So we'll see Sophie Molyneux lead Australia for the first time in that T20 at the SCG tomorrow night.
And just over the Swan in a week or so's time. Really looking forward to the women's test against India. That'll be happening at the WACA ground.
And you can find it on the ABC Listen app. So that's the place to pick off all of that action. 29 points, the Vicks lead. Just a quick wrap on the injury front. Jacob Wiedering. In fact, Mitch Turner's on the boundary. Mitch, bring us up to date, the guys that are out of this game.
I mean, the Jacob Wiedering is obviously the most serious one, taking to hospital scans. We're not 100% sure on the issue. Could be rib-related, neck-related, the way they took him off. We're not going to know too much more until the end of the game. So Jacob Wiedering's out. Mitch Georgiades with hamstring awareness. So too Sam Taylor on the WA front. Now, Matt Rouse had his finger assessed down in the rooms. He's back out on the bench. So wait and see if he takes any further part in this game. But yeah, the biggest one's obviously Jacob Wiedering, and hopefully we'll have an update from the Victorian side from their post-game press conferences and interviews after the match.
Thanks, Mitch. That's the siren to signal the start of the final term. Victoria by 29. Origin footy on ABC Sport, and a successful return so far of the format. Cripps can't get it away. Dacos runs, carries, gives it to Butters. Clever kick. Pulls it back to half forward. Merritt all on his own. Collects. 48 metres out, kicks to the top of the goal square. Clean pick up on the half volley. Humphreys. WA back the other way. Gives it to Rivers. Back to Humphreys, to Baker. Humphreys with his third touch in the chain. Kicks it off the back flank. Superb. Finds Archie in front of the benches.
That was well done. Archie takes two bounces, then a third, and take another. And he does it right half forward. Archie kicks towards full forward. No mark taken. Richards dropped it. Norton tried to shovel a hand pass forward. Sinclair was back there for Victoria. Gave it to Stewart under pressure, right against his goal line. Goes short by a hand to Collins. Pops a hand pass for Hardwick, who's run straight at Archie. Just got the kick away. But it's going to go down the throat of Baker, and he marks it at right half forward for WA. He's about 60 from goal, and he spots a player free in Charlie Cameron in the right forward pocket, right up against the boundary. Charlie Cameron will go towards left full forward. Hogan drags in the mark. Just inside where the left hand behind post is. It's going to be a tight angle for him, but he'll kick from no more than 15 out. 2 straight goals today, Jesse Hogan.
He's got good jukes, doesn't he?
Always thrilled to see the way that he's been able to re-establish his career. All-Australian and Corbin medalist in 2024, and the best and fairest for the Giants too. For WA to have any hope, Hogan has to kick this. He improves the angle, puts it onto his right boot, and snaps a much-needed goal for WA. He's got his third, and it's their first since the 15-minute mark of the third term. The margin is back down to 23 points. Victoria 15-11, 101. WA 12-6, 78. This is Origin Footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, Sharon Willingham and Shane Woden.
Nice, exciting run down the wing from Archie, and
Humphrey's
in out.
superb.
Humphrey's superb down in that last line of defence, wasn't he?
Yep.
That's the kind of footy that they're going to have to employ, isn't it? The ability to transition from one end to the other.
Certainly. Clean at ground level, just composed. Very skillful, isn't he? On both sides of his body, Humphrey.
58,141 the attendance, so 58,141 for the return of Origin as Gawn gets the centre clearance for the Vicks, but WA have it coming back. Clark spoils to Baker, the Docker and the Eagle, kicks to the wing, and there's Archie who takes the mark. He's a new Crow, so kicks to a former Crow in Cameron at half forward. That's Charlie. WA still work it out after Charlie Cameron left it behind. Cripps to Cameron, handball back inboard. Baker tried to get it away off the deck, not to be. Dacos slides in, taken high.
Clark should have jumped over and gone for the below the ankles.
Ward chips it further afield, finds Richards on the wing. Best and fairest of the Dogs last year had Richards. Kicks down the wing, finds Merritt. What an eventful off-season he had. Runs, carries, handball away to McCluggage, kicks inside 50, and Darcy takes the mark. The third-generation Bulldog. He's a second-generation state player, but unlike his old man, he's not playing for SA. He's out there with the big V on his chest. Talk about blue-chip prospects in the game. Imagine buying stocks in this young man at 22. He kicked 48 goals last year in only 17 games. He's less than 50 games into his career. Sam Darcy from right in front. Misses. Out to the right, and the door remains ajar for the home team. It's Victoria by 4 goals neat. 4 minutes gone, final term. Origin Footy on ABC Sport.
Rivers to Hill in the left back pocket for WA. Back to Rivers. Kick goes in the direction of Humphreys. Good mark right up against the boundary. He was in front of Holmes. Stabs it in the direction of Powell. Can't mark but can follow up. He's still at left half back. Goes looking for Broad, who marks just shy of the defensive edge of the centre square. Between left half back and centre half back. He wanted someone to come towards him. Nothing immediately presents. Kicks into the centre square, and here's a mark to Cornelio. Sweeps a hand past the lob. He's on centre wing. It's a chip short that unfortunately WA can't manufacture a mark out of, and Powell gathered it on the bounce, and then he was gathered by Richards and taken to ground at right half forward. Stoppage presents. English against Gawn. Gawn won it down to Merritt. Couldn't take it cleanly. Pressure came from Cripps, who then gives away a free kick. He took Gawn high. Victoria will have it at left half back. The Vicks lead by 24 points. 5 gone in the final term.
Max Gawn with number 11 on his back, and the 2 ones very close together, almost a rectangle. And he goes back to Stewart. Stewart across the half back line to Collins. Chips it further afield to Hardwick. Dabs it to Smith. It's amazing that that's something that's not uniform in the game. The number 11 used to play with Shane O'Brien, and you could drive a truck through the two number ones. He had almost part of his stripes, they were that wide on the back of his jumper. Short to Nick Dacos. A current pie kicks inside the middle of the ground. Off the hands of Ash. Spills to Charlie Cameron. WA are out. Bolton in plenty of space. Looks inside the forward 50. He decides to kick long to the goal square. Hogan! And Jesse Hogan is trying to single-handedly drag WA back into this game.
It's a great mark, but it was the wrong option going inside forward 50. He had a couple of short options, lower the eyes.
That's Cosy, didn't he?
But a great mark by Hogan.
Vice-like.
The boys from Claremont, who of course started his career at the Demons, came home to play for the Dockers and now playing the best footy of his career as a Giant. Had injury problems to end last year with his foot, but if you're wondering whether he's fit or not, he has looked at his best in this Origin game. He's got 4 and keeps WA in the fight. Victoria's lead trimmed to 18 points. The Vics 15-12-102. They lead the Sandgropers 13-6-84. Hogan's kicked 2 in the last. He's got 4 for the contest. 7 minutes travelled, final term. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
Just mark inside 50 for Jesse, so...
There you go. There's your farmer medalist. Especially if you managed to get him over the line.
Late charge.
Very late charge.
And getting smaller, the Bigs. Has that an influence?
Mitch Turner is down on the boundary for us, Mitch.
Matt Rowe's moved to the back of the bench, so I doubt we'll see him again without finger injury. So just another one out of the midfield rotation for the Vics.
All back in the middle. Throwing aloft. Sherry looked to palm it down. Going through Cripps. Got in the way. Got it to Bolton. WA burst away through Darcy Cameron. Bolton kicks inside forward 50. Hogan couldn't mark it this time. Jackson put himself over the top of the football. Was able to win it. Gave it to Pickett. Out now to Charlie Cameron. He snaps and goes. They're back to within 2 goals, and Charlie Cameron's got his 3rd. And the crowd rises as one for WA. 12 points that margin. Victoria 15-12, 102. WA 14-6-98 gone in the last. But this has been the point where WA has not been able to get any closer for them. This 2-goal margin.
WA have an impact when Bolton's at centre bounce. Yep. He's able to get through the front on numerous occasions tonight. And again on that occasion, he couldn't quite hit Jesse up. But yeah, up and about the WA boys.
3 in a row for WA. Something that they have done on 3 occasions tonight. But as Clint mentioned, this is the next goal they haven't been able to get. After falling 27 behind, they got back within 9 and within 12, but no closer. Back in the middle, Bontempelli turns it over. Powell, hand pass to Bolton, who's been electric, gives it to Baker. Low trajectory kick, couldn't link up with Pickett. Victoria back the other way. Ash to Smith to Sinclair. Now to Dacos. Centering kick for Victoria. Over the back comes Humphreys. Spoils away for WA. Darcy Cameron collects around his ankles. Gives it to Warner. Handball away to O'Meara. Back to Warner. Back to Humphreys. He just runs straight past Nick Dacos. Humphreys with a couple of bounces to Hogan.
He's a leap by foot.
This is overwhelming. And 58,000 strong are right in the comeback. Mitch Turner on the boundary.
Yeah, that's right, Corbin. 58,141. That is the crowd figure officially coming through from the AFL. 58,141.
There's the leg from Humphrey.
And Jesse Hogan, whose football career has based him in 3 different states, representing his hometown. Hogan makes it a 1-score game. And makes it 1 for the thumb. Jesse Hogan's got 5 in Origin. And Western Australia have kicked 4 in a row for the first time in the contest. 15-12 to 15-6. Oh, we got a game. 11 gone in the final term. Origin footy on ABC Sport. Sharrod Wellingham and Shane Wheeldon.
Yes, the last quarter to have the legs. Yeah, he is the medalist. Last quarter for Humphreys to have the legs, have the composure to deliver inside forward 50. You called it. His skill is elite, both sides of the body. Huge centre clearance coming up here. Gawn's made his way to the bench, so Sherry up against Cameron.
There's an enormous roar around the stadium as Darcy Cameron tries to soccer it forward, but only as far as Anderson, who takes it for Victoria, quickly kicks inside forward 50. Toby Green takes the chest mark. 48 out from goal. 45-degree angle to the left-hand side. 2 goals to his name today.
Couldn't get his toe to the ball, Darcy, at the centre bounce, just to get it out of the area, clear congestion. Just show his strength there from Toby Green.
These are the moments that Toby Green lives for. He adores the role of being the villain. 2 goals to his name from 50 outs. He's missed a minor score. Could it be the old handy point? It's a 7-point game in favour of Victoria. 12 gone in the last.
Just after that last Hogan goal, WA within 6 points, closest they've been since the 19-minute mark of the opening term. A short kick out finds Barris in the back pocket. Pat collapses with Sherry involved, spills through to English. He's tackled, dragged to the boundary line, and dragged out of play. We'll have a throw-in. 7-point game now on the back of that Green behind. 15-13 to 15-6. WA have not led since the 15-minute mark of the opening term. Pickett against the boundary line, keeps it alive to Warner, who runs, kicks inside 50. Charlie Cameron in the pack. Ash spoils down into the path of Bolton, who breaks it up. Ash wins it back. Hand pass to Dacos, gives it to Stewart, kicks wide for the Vicks, and here's Toby. Victoria by 7 points, 13 minutes gone, final term.
It's a lovely kick from Toby Green to find Caleb Sarong. Across centre half back. Sarong's kick in the direction of McCluggage. One down by O'Meara. He's Docker's teammate. Ball still to be won. O'Meara tries to dive in a second time. Jackson looks to put himself over the football. Butters tries to emerge with it for Victoria. He's tackled by Pickett. Ball came out the side. Still, there's a genuine contest on. Over the top of it, Baker looked to slap it back. It's over the boundary line on centre wing. Southern side of Perth Stadium. Will it be ball back in? If you had any doubts they weren't fair dinkum, you can just put them away. In fact, Andrew Dillon should get on the phone to Roger Cook right now and lock in a few more of these. Spun back in, Victoria through McCluggage, able to gather, kicked around the body, and up there is a very talented young man in Humphreys to take the mark. Dangerous kick across half back. Toby Green won it down up against Clark. It spills to Anderson. He's tackled, got the hands free. Darcy spun in the tackle, still got it out to McCluggage. Shared it with Anderson again, moved it on to Merritt. Back to Anderson, misses. Had the chance from 40 outs. Misses left, minor score. It is an 8-point game. 14 gone in the last.
This has been everything we hoped it would be, as Humphreys kicks along to the wing and Darcy Cameron's getting a free. Took the mark anyway. Hand pass to Charlie Cameron. Runs away from Sinclair. Kicks inside 50. Pickett's down there, competes, no mark. Spills through to Nick Dacos. Handball away hurriedly, and the Vicks work it out. Ash got it from Richards. Back to Ash, to Sherry. Back to Ash. Third disposal in the chain. Look at his pace. Lockie Dash off the back flank. Chips it in the middle of the ground for Butters. He marks, moves it forward to Dangerfield. And the dare and the pace of Lockie Ash off the back flank sets up a goal-scoring opportunity for the visitors. Dangerfield doesn't take it, gives it to Dacos, back to Dangerfield, on the run, Paddy Dangerfield with a big blow in the game, knocks it through, and the Geelong veteran with a big-time goal for the Vicks. makes it 14 points for the visitors. 16-14, 110. Western Australia 15-6, 96. First goal of the final term for Victoria comes at the 16-minute mark of the last. Mitch Turner on the boundary. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
More hamstring awareness updates. Calamarchi now out of the game with hamstring awareness. And you might have noticed a lack of a target up there for WA. Jesse Hogan was coming off for a 2-minute breather, a bit of a rub. Now he's running back out there for WA.
Leave him out there, Coxie. Let him get to work, Hogan. What dash from Lockie Ash. That was pretty incredible at this stage of the game to take on Jackson as well, who's no slouch in the pace department, is he?
No. It's a good finish.
Gordon with the telling tap and a bounce back to him. Gave it off to Dacos. Hand passes Victoria. Only as far as Cripps. Gunners for WA under pressure. Lost it, picked it up a second time. Popped the hand pass in the direction of Warner. Met by Dacos, who ripped the ball from him. Tackled then by Powell. He's given away the free kick. They'll take the advantage. Dacos taken high. Meantime, it moves to Butters. Sends it inside forward 50. Somehow Toby Green was all on his own. And he takes the mark for Victoria. A chance to go back and kick what would be his third and back-to-back majors for the Vicks. He elects to pop it short, though. And he goes into the left forward pocket and waiting there, McCluggage, who marks. He's a lot closer, but it's a tougher angle. Tighter than a 45 degree to the left, but he's only 25 out. Hugh McCluggage with 2 goals so far today. Works it around, but misses. Tried to snap it and curl it through. Went narrow left-hand side. There's still life in this game. Victoria's lead 15 points. 17 gone in the last.
WA did get within a goal in this final term. The Vicks have kicked the last and a boatload of behinds. Turnover in the back half. Not a good one from Geordie Clark. Vicks with it. High half forward. Bont gives it to Merritt. Fumbles. Regathers. Back to the Bont against the boundary line. Hand pass inside to Sarong. Kicks into the pocket. Green again. Takes the mark. Rides the contact from Barris. And Toby Green looks ever so threatening up front with a big V on his chest.
Chad Warner was by himself there for an eternity coming out of the back half.
Oh, and there's a bit of push and shove. Again, it's Butters at the centre of it. Hanging onto the jumper of Barris, and the umpire comes in to try and separate them. And Butters always with plenty to say. Green across the body. Misses. And Victoria's kicking in this final term is keeping WA in the game. They've kicked 5 behinds and just the 1 major. So Victoria 16-16, WA 15-6, 18 gone. Still over 11 minutes or 10 minutes left on the game clock. Victoria by 16, WA close enough, if good enough.
Hill, kick-in duties to the right back pocket to Rivers. Had some space to work with. And then goes long towards centre wing. Hogan has done well up against Collins. Flicks the play quickly by hand to Cripps for WA. Then to Bolton inside forward 50. English got hands to it. Front position though. Bontempelli. Ball spills towards the boundary line. Trying to keep it in. Norton. Hand pass only as far as Ash. He's got it deep in the left back pocket for Victoria. Very short by hand. Collins. Ash again. It's plenty of advice to just send it long. He'll do so beyond defensive 50. Gone up. Couldn't mark it against Hogan. Spill down to Bontempelli to Smith. Bailey Smith hand pass over the shoulder. Gathered beautifully by McCluggage. Wheels around onto his right. And that is pinpoint to find Dacos, who marks and plays on immediately through the centre square. Kicks to the southern wing. What a kick it was. Battle mark. Didn't have to break stride. Gathered. Worked it on towards Green, who kicks into the man on the mark in Rivers. WA through Broad, another chance to go forward. Rivers surrounded by Victorians. Sarong tackles him, came out to battle. Got a hand pass away. Merritt with it again from right half forward. Kicks in the direction of Dangerfield, attacks the footy. Dangerfield hands it off again. It comes now to Sarong, and Sarong might has kicked the sealer. Caleb Sarong on his home deck for Fremantle might have just given Victoria the Origin game of 2026. Their lead is 22 points. 17-16, 118. WA 15-6, 96. Dangerfield was strong. Darcy spotted Sarong, and Sarong did not miss.
A really tough contest by Dangerfield. Just attacked the ball Lob was probably in the right spot at the right time, didn't go at the ball, and it's tough for Barras, who's kind of in that position of, do you check Dangerfield's run and risk the free kick being awarded? That could be a nail in the coffin. Still plenty of time left.
They get close, don't they? Multiple occasions tonight.
Just repeating that crowd figure, 58,141. What an event it has been. Out to 22 points the Vic's way. Smith first disposal at the middle, gives it to Gawn, kicks inside 50. Baker threw his body at it, skimmed off his knuckles, knocked it away from Merritt. Baker goes and gives a hand to Bradley Hill, who did well. Baker gives it to Hill, back to Baker, back to Hill. In close quarters, short kick to Cripps. The WA skipper, hand pass to Clark, looks for Hogan, marks. He's still 70 metres out, goes back inboard, and Jackson bangs bodies with the Bont. And Jackson will get the free for the front-on contact. Luke Jackson. And the number 2, ordinarily the number 9, heads across the half-forward line to Lawson Humphries. Bangs it 50-plus off a step. He's inaccurate, though. Misses out to the left. Victoria by 21. 22 minutes gone, final term. Stick around. We'll have all the wash-up, the post-game. A reaction from both teams. Any injury concerns. A reaction from Wowie and Sharrod. And, of course, the presentation of both the best of field medals for both WA and Victoria.
Oh, big spiral from Hardwick. Landed in the middle of the stadium. But it's taken there by Humphries. Good grab and immediately sends it out towards Clark. That was a good kick too. He's at right half forward. Clark for WA finds Charlie Cameron deep in the right forward pocket, marking 45 from goal. And he'll start with his boots almost on the boundary line at right half forward. Just had a little glance to his left. Now has eyes for the big sticks. Charlie Cameron, that's a disappointing kick by his standards. He's missed the lot out to the right-hand side and sending it about 6 rows back. No score and no change to that margin. Victoria leading by 21, 23 gone in the last. Origin footy on ABC Sport.
WA did get within a goal, 11-minute mark final term. Victoria have kicked the last 2 and have led since halfway through the opening term. Off the pack, spills down to Baker, gives it to Humphries for WA, kicks to full forward. Waterman, as he tunnelled in all of that, he's getting a free, hit the deck hard in the marking contest. And Max Holmes turns and looks at the umpire and said, was that me? And the umpire says, yes, it was. And a free kick is going to go to the West Australian full forward. And it was just a shove in the back. I don't like that. The contact and the player leaves the ground in the marking contest. You can call it tunnelling, you can call it in the back, whatever it was, it's a free kick for the West Coast key forward. Just to give us another twist in this game, Waterman got to bank it, misses. Out to the right, and ordinarily expecting to kick that from 25 out. 20-point game, Victoria on top, 24 gone final term, Origin footy on ABC Sport.
2-2 for Waterman tonight. In the Cluggage. Finding Collins. Collins by a hand to McCluggage, who ran behind him into the right back pocket. Going out towards right half back. Battle short to Dacos, hard up against the boundary line. Dacos trots back, looking for an option. Decides to go long and down the line. And then Sherry just had himself in the right position. He took the mark on his chest. Hand pass was a bit high for Bailey Smith to handle. Had time to regather. Hands it back to Sherry. The Kangaroo will kick Victoria towards right half forward. Humphries up. Couldn't mark. Comes down here. And a chance for Merritt to kick another one for Victoria as he floated through. And he's got his second. Gunston was there. Handed off to Merritt, who just went strolling by. And it's the Vic's game now. Their lead is 26 points at the 25-minute mark of the last. 18-16, 124 to WA, 15-8, 98.
34 scoring shots. A lot of footy. They just seem to score a lot easier tonight on transition than what WA have.
Played almost as a half forward, hasn't he, Zach Merritt, in this highly talented team. As talk he could play half-back for Essendon in the season proper. What an interesting year for the Bombers, and for that man after the talented 6-time best and fairest winner. That was a want-away Bomber, wasn't he, in the trade period? Wanted to get to Hawthorn, not to be. Noticed he's had the mouthguard moulded for the new season in the red and black colours, and be pulling on the sash again come round 1. Back in the middle, Bolton trying to evade a couple. Got a hand pass going forward. Cripps collects. Hand pass away to Warner. Feeds it back to Bolton, who gets another touch in the chain. Showtime Shea misses. Out to the left. 25 points, the margin. 26 minutes gone, final term. Vicks by 25. They've led since halfway through the opening term. WA did get within a goal, but couldn't put their nose in front.
Ash to Dacos. Back to Ash. Hands it again to Hardwick. He'll flare it out to Stewart. He's got it in the left back pocket for Victoria. Nothing immediately presents, so he'll go all the way back to Hardwick again. Back to where we started, just outside his defensive goal square. Long kick now for Victoria towards right half back, and that's a strong mark to Collins. Had to deal with the flying Humphreys as well. Collins moves it on to Merritt, most recent goal kicker. Makes a step inboard and finds Anderson, who marks outer edge of the centre square. And all over the place here, WA. The kick is into the right forward pocket. Dangerfield had it knocked away from him by Clark. Now WA will try to rebound. It comes through O'Meara, and he looks to move it to Norton.
Norton has got plenty of room to work into. Runs to high half forward. Kicks deep for Pickett. Pickett can't complete the mark. Outnumbered as it hits the deck. Stewart for Victoria on the behind line. Hands it to Ash. He kicks into oncoming traffic. Ricochets off those bodies and out of play. Forward pocket for the Sandgropers. That's the official attendance being announced. Just to repeat that, 58,141. Quite rightfully, everyone in the house gives themselves a round of applause, and what an atmosphere it's been. A partisan crowd, highly entertaining game of footy, and both teams absolutely cracked in. From the boundary throw-in, Norton got it away to Canelio, who snapped over his shoulder but missed. And behind, and that takes Western Australia to 3 figures, so 124 plays 100. And we'll chop it all up in the post-game, I'm sure, but gee, I'm sure the organisers would be pretty happy. Organisers would be pretty happy with what they've seen here with 3 to play. Vicks by 4 goals.
Just measuring their foot passes around inside defensive 50, Victoria. It's come to McCluggage. He can go on a little run back into the corridor and sweep it out to the right back pocket to Stewart. He'll kick beyond defensive 50 to Gawn. He marks just inside the boundary line. The locals out there weren't as convinced. Gawn then decides to just take any worry out of the equation for the spectators and kick out of bounds himself on centre wing. Chance here for Jordan Clark. Run inboard and then send it back from whence it came into the left forward pocket. He can't find a WA target, and Stewart, as he does so often, up to take the defensive mark, this time for Victoria rather than Geelong. Move it short to Ash, and options behind him. Comes out again towards Sinclair. Sinclair into the left back pocket. Here's Collins, and then Collins able to find Bontempelli, who marks at left half back. Victoria by 24 points, 29 gone in the last.
The Bond inside to Smith, hands it to Sinclair, to Butters, all by hand, back to Smith. Under pressure, hurried kick into the pocket. Man down there, clever. Gunston keeps it alive. Snaps. Misses. Got it a little skinny. And the behind kicking spree continues in this final term. So 3 goals, 6 for Victoria in the last. They've done enough, you'd think, to close the game. Final 2 minutes. Victoria by 25.
It's been everything you'd hope for. As a contest, as a neutral, Victorian supporters will be delighted as WA head down the outer side, and Hill wanted Bolton to come towards him, as he did. The kick went his way, but he couldn't find the target. It's off hands and over the boundary line for a throw-in. So the 20th time in Origin footy these sides have gone head-to-head. Victoria are about to record their 13th win. Back in again. Gawn punches it forward. Then socket on by Dacos. Only as far as Clark, though, on the wing. As he went to ground, got a hand pass back to Lobb. And now it's with Bolton once more for WA. Kicks inboard and he finds Cameron. Stands just inside the centre square. Kicks towards full forward. Slipping over Stewart. Ball continues to bounce. Pickett got onto it for WA. Hands it to Hogan in the right forward pocket. Tries to go back to Jackson. And Jackson gives his opponent a little shove. And then he's been paid the mark. So Jackson to come back and try and kick what would be his third. Just to try to improve the margin a little bit for WA. It's currently 25 points in favour of Victoria. Luke Jackson, premiership player on this ground with Melbourne, now with the Dockers. 2 goals to his name this afternoon. Trots in and hits the left hand behind a left-hand goal post. Yet another behind in this final term. It's a 24-point margin as we close in on full time.
Barring a fast goal here, WA are going to edge the final term. It was a fast start. WA kicked 2 goals before the Vics had touched the footy, and once they settled, Victoria played from in front throughout. They led by 20 at quarter time, 22 at the half, 29 at three-quarter time, and 24 in the finish. In front of a monstrous partisan crowd of 58,000. And Victoria are going to get one last 50-metre penalty, which will drive them further afield. And the footy in the hands of Max Holmes. Hands it off to Bailey Smith. And the big V is for victory. Victoria win the Origin revival in the best version of what it might have been. Long live Origin footy. Victoria by 24 points. 18-17, 125. WA 15-11, 101. And the Big V get it done away from home. A 24-point final margin. The Holy Grail is what beats out on the final siren. So we haven't got the bespoke anthems ready to go just yet. Victoria, we're told, will pump out their traditional theme song, which is to the North Melbourne tune, with, of course, the Victorian wording replacing the North Melbourne lyrics. With the Vics in front of 58,141, win it by 24 points. How about that, Shane Wheeldon, Sharrod Wellingham? What an event. In the middle of February, Victoria by 4 goals.
Yeah, great spectacle. Well done to all on putting the show on, and for particularly the players who committed for an entirety, invested in it, and we got a great game. Although very high scoring. I think we'll get a lot of it in the AFL season, but yeah, great game, great spectacle. And yeah, it was close there for a while.
Yeah, it was close. It was a really nice, back and forth. Victoria kept a great start from WA, obviously, getting the first couple of goals out of the gates, but Victoria's skill and ability to transition was really what stood out and enabled them to be the dominant side for the majority of the night. I think in terms of the spectacle, yeah, it was absolutely awesome. I think 58,000, great turnout. Like you said, it's hot February day today. To get those numbers here was pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And they'll remember it for a while too.
Yeah.
Well,
it felt like a tremendous event. I mean, to have the home team come from behind, they fell 30 behind. They get within a goal in the last quarter. And then Victoria sort of had to draw on all their champions to be able to steady up and get the win. I think Victoria were about a 3 or 4 goal favourite, and ultimately the game ends as a Victoria win by 4 goals. 18-17, 125. WA 17-11, 101. I guess the only negative sign is obviously the injury front, which is obviously unavoidable in contact football, and it's exactly what this is. Jacob Wiedering in the first quarter stretched it off the ground, concerns around his neck. He's been hospitalised. Marking contest, fell to the ground, and as he landed, Georgiades fell on top of him, crunching him on the side as he was sort of one shoulder hit the deck, the other shoulder rode the contact. From Mitch Georgiades, Matt Rowell ended the game with a finger complaint on the bench, and then hamstring awareness for Sam Taylor and for Mitch Georgiades. The spread of, and Will Power, by the way, had a shoulder complaint.
And Archie, hamstring awareness as well.
And hamstring awareness for Archie, apologies. So that gives us 4 players for Victoria, for Western Australia with a watch coming out of it, and 2 for the Vics.
I think that they would have been ultra conservative with the awareness type of injuries. I think that if they were tight, they would have said, no, you're done. And I think that, that's smart in terms of they've got the whole season ahead of them. They've still got to finish off their pre-seasons. So taking the cautious approach is the right thing to do.
The most minutes, so for Western Australia, Tom Barras, Rory Lobb, two key defenders, as you'd expect. Then Keziah Pickett, Jordan Clark, Jesse Hogan. So they're the 5 players for WA that spent the most amount of time on the ground. The fewest minutes, Georgiades, who was done at half-time. Sam Taylor, who played 71 of a possible, almost 130 minutes. Tim English also with only 80 minutes coming back from an injury concern. And Kellarchi, as we mentioned, ended the game on the bench with 83 minutes. While for Victoria, Blake Hardwick played every minute of the contest. Jack Sinclair, the next most, followed by Hugh McCluggage, Tom Stewart and Nick Dacos. And the fewest minutes went the way of Matt Rowell, who ended on the bench with injury. Tristan Sherry played only 25 minutes. He was fit at he played only 75 minutes. 75 minutes for Tristan Sherry. And then Jacob Wiedering, obviously only the 25 minutes. He was injured in the opening term. The goal kickers, so for Victoria, 4 for Ben King and then 2 each for Green, McCluggage, Merritt and Dangerfield. Kicked a big one in the last quarter to settle the game down when WA got within single digits. Singles for Sarong, Bontempelli, Nick Dacos, Butters, Smith and Sherry. While for Western Australia, 5 for Hogan, 3 for Charlie Cameron, 2 for Waterman, 2 for Jackson. Singles for Bolton, for Hill, and Chad Warner kicked the first of the game. Corbin Middlemas, Clint Wheeldon, Shane Woden, Sharad Wellingham pulling it all apart. The players are slowly making their way towards the broadcast wing. Ryan Daniels is our MC. We will have the presentation of the Polypharma Cup, the Graham Polypharma Trophy, to be presented by his daughter Kim. And the Graham Moss Medal will be presented by the man himself, the man who represented Australia 23 times at state level, 76 Brownlow medalist, the first West Australian to win that gong. It was last presented in 1998 when Peter Bell was awarded the medal in the state game you played in, Wowie. And then the E.J. Whitten medal will go to the best Victorian on the ground. And I can see Ted Whitten Jr. down there, E.J.'s son, is going to present it. It'll be voted on by the chairman of selectors, so Glenn Jakovich and Gary Lyon, along with the senior coach and the captain. So those hands-on that are involved will be picking, along with the assistant coaches, the player adjudged best of field. Here's Ryan Daniels, our MC.
Tonight, please joining me in acknowledging their efforts. Would you now please welcome the captain of WA, Patrick Cripps.
First of all, I just want to kick off to say thanks to the WA government for hosting this. I think everyone would agree it was a great contest. We'd love to run it back next year against the Vics, so we'll keep that going. To McDonald's and Amy that sponsored this event, big appreciation. Just want to say to Victoria, what a contest. It was bloody good fun. Obviously, we have a high level of respect for every single one of you. The game was played the right way, and I hope everyone out there enjoyed it. To the WA boys, I know how much it means to come home and play in front of a home crowd, but pull on the black and gold. It's bloody special, it means a lot. And lastly, to everyone in the stadium and everyone watching at home, especially from WA, I think Origin's here to stay, so thanks for the support.
Thank you, Patrick. Continuing with the tradition of past Origin matches, a judging panel has selected a best player from each team for tonight's match. The Graham Moss Medal, named in honour of West Australian Football Hall of Fame legend and awarded to WA's best on-ground player, will be presented by the man himself. Please welcome Graham Moss.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to announce that the winner of the Graham Moss Medal is Jesse Hogan.
So he'll be a pretty popular winner. He kicked 3 of his 5 goals in the final term as WA made their charge. And Jesse Hogan, 13 disposals. He also took 9 marks and kicked 5 straight. He's the Graham Moss medalist. Here he is.
I'll keep it brief. I just want to echo what Paddy said. Thanks for the AFL for putting this on. None of the boys took it for light that we can chuck this jersey back on, and I think I speak for the Vics as well. And thanks for Travel Tourism WA for putting it on, and thanks for the crowd for coming, and hopefully we're here again next year, so thank you.
And now to present the E.J. Whitten Medal to the player judge best on ground for Victoria, please welcome son of the great E.J., Ted Whitten Jr.
It's my very great pleasure to announce the winner of the E.J. Whitten medal, and it goes to Lockie Ash.
That's a really nice winner. Lockie Ash from the Giants, 25 disposals. And he also had one incredible run in that last quarter, which set up what turned to be the clinching goal to Patrick Dangerfield.
Firstly, I just want to thank the AFL for putting on such a terrific week here. Everyone's loved it. I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the WA boys and our boys. It's been a great week. Amy and Macca's, the major sponsors, put on a terrific week as well. Couldn't do it without them. To the WA boys, it was a great contest. Sure everyone here go home happy, got their money's worth, so well done. To our boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I was actually a bit nervous coming over, so you boys got around me. We gelled together pretty well, and I've loved my time here, so thank you, and see you next year.
A 24-year-old from Shepparton, almost 500 metres gained, the E.J. Whitten medalist.
Thank you, Lockie. And now finally, to present the Graham Polly Farmer Cup to Captain Marcus Bontempelli of Victoria, please welcome Polly's daughter, Kim Farmer.
Okay, it was such a special day to represent both Dad and the two states that Dad played for, Western Australia, my home, my heart, and Victoria, who won. And obviously the Polly Farmer Cup goes to Victoria.
Of course, back in the days before State of Origin and the concept became what it was in 1977, it was League v League, so that's why we got Polly representing Victoria before that in the old VFL. And coached the team for WA in 1977 in the inaugural State of Origin game between these two teams, between any two teams.
I'll keep it brief because I think the boys have already said exactly what I would have said. I think, first of all, to the state of WA, all the fans, all the community, everyone who turned up today, thank you so much. The game would not have been the same without it, so we really appreciate you having us here, hosting us here. We can't wait to run this back. WA boys, unbelievable, what a game. I think we all appreciate how much it means to represent our states. And I think we did it in pretty good fashion, boys. So well done, much respect, and let's do that again. To our boys, what a couple of days. Couldn't be prouder of how we played the game, represented all your clubs, all our state very well, and we stuck it right up them. There you go.
How good is it? There's the line. There's the line right at the end. The famous EJ.
Thank you, Marcus. That concludes our formalities for Amy AFL Origin.
Thanks to Ryan
Good
Daniels,
luck to all
Victoria
players,
by
teams and fans for the
points.
season
So
ahead.
58,141 the final attendance. The Vics 18-17, 125. They beat WA 15-11, 101. The fireworks, the pyrotechnics go off in the background, and that'll be the backdrop to the Victorian team photo as they huddle around the Polly Farmer Cup, a 24-point win for the Vics. Origin footy on ABC Sport, 0467 920 222 if you want to have your say. The two teams disperse. And well done to the Vics. Well done to Western Australia and everyone involved. I mean, I mentioned it on the siren. It felt like the best version of what it could have been if you said, hey, at the start of the game, we're going to get 125 beats 101. There's going to be a goal in it halfway through the final quarter. And there's going to be a huge crowd, which was sold out weeks before the game. I mean, it felt like it had everything that we'd sort of hoped.
Yeah, certainly did. 59,000. That's terrific from the Western Australian public to be able to get here and support it and wrap their arms around State of Origin footy. And you can absolutely see in the players' voices too that they want it to stay and they want it next year. And so fingers crossed that it happens again.
So all the usual questions is this the time of the year for it? Is this as good as we're going to get middle of February? And I mean, what a great product as the first game of footy that we've seen in the men's comp, obviously, since last September.
Can I answer that one? This is the time that it has to be because just the way that the fixture is. I understand the arguments that it would be like in rugby league, if it was in the middle of the season, players would be battle hardened, it probably would be a better contest. But what's your favourite line, the Barack Obama? Don't let the pursuit of excellence spoil the good. It's not going to happen in the middle of the season, and what we saw today was terrific. That's as entertaining a contest as you could hope for. If you want to kickstart the season off, how much better is something like what we just saw compared to the Community Cup games, which are just effectively a chance for players to build into the year? That was terrific. The guns came. They committed. The fans came, they committed. We got a terrific contest. We got to see some unbelievable skills this early in the proceedings. We got to see superstars play on the same team for both of these sides. Injuries are going to be a discussion point, and if there are some serious injuries, and we keep our fingers crossed again for Jacob Wiedering, and we know there's a bit of hamstring awareness out there, that's going to be discussed. But we've seen time and time again, and Corbin, we've both spoken about this, when there are the Community Cup games in the first 2 or 3 rounds of the season, there are always those sorts of issues and those sorts of injuries. So injuries are going to happen. I think this is a great way to kickstart the year. This is where, right now, it has to be.
Impossible with a fixture with a bye that runs over 4 weeks.
Can't be anywhere else. And the other argument, I can't agree with post-grand final. Whether you're a broadcaster, a player, a fan, once we hit the end of the grand final,
it's all over.
Everyone takes a massive sigh of relief and says, that's done. I can't see anywhere else that you could possibly place it. It has to be here. And the other argument, let's maybe have it in a grand final bye or in that. No, that's nonsense, because if that's the case, well, some of your best players aren't playing. If you're Collingwood last year or Brisbane, they're not, or Geelong and Brisbane last year, they're not playing. And so therefore we've been denied this game. The likes of Dangerfield, the likes of Cameron, the likes of Stewart, the likes of Holmes, none of those guys play. There's no perfect solution. This is the best that there is.
It'll be interesting what happens next year. So obviously the WA government had to put forward the money to make it happen. I think even if you were to buy a Victorian jumper, it's got Western Australia or Tourism Western Australia written on the back of it on the VIX jumpers. So obviously the money's there from the state. It's well supported. It'll be interesting to see how it plays in other parts of the country. So when I left Victoria, for example, to come here for the game, there was probably people were a little slow to warm to it, and maybe that has ramped up as the weeks progressed. The other
in terms of wanting it to go ahead,
just thinking, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it all worthwhile playing this game in February? It's not really Origin footy. The other thing I heard a lot was, how come we're not playing South Australia? Which people in Victoria seem like that was something that they were probably more interested in than a WA battle. As a native sandgroper, I found it very touching that we got to relive the first state of origin, obviously, when these two teams played against each other. So there's all the historical tie-ins that are part of it. As to whether WA should get it again next year, whether they get it, whether there is an appetite for another state to say, you know what, we thought that was excellent. We want to put some money forward, whether that's South Australia or
that'll be just like Gather Round Corbin, the AFL. They know how to take a state government and turn them upside down and shake them a lot and see how much money falls out of their pocket.
It'll be. And I mean, the other one's the Indigenous All-Stars game, which obviously was played here last year
and was great.
And I mean, the only problem with the Indigenous All-Stars game is maybe finding an opponent. Like, you look at last year, the Indigenous All-Star guys were awesome. And yet they played against a team that you felt like they kind of put the cue in the rack when they realised the game was a bit more dinkum than they'd signed up for. And so you had one really good team against perhaps an opponent that wasn't locked in the same way. So I don't know if there's a way around that as to what they can do to maybe find a different opponent other than an AFL team that's getting ready for a season. But, I mean, all these things will be worked through. I think it's by any metric, how do you not look at today and say this was an overwhelming success?
Yeah, 100% you do. I don't think you're ever going to be able to please everybody. You're not going to be able to please all states. You're not going to be able to please all clubs. And so, in terms of the Indigenous All-Stars, if it's going to be hosted here, it has to be against West Coast or Freo, because no one's going to want to travel over here to play. So they take turns in playing. The All-Stars. But when it comes to state of origin, bidding from the government point of view. The decision from the AFL, I think, has to be... I don't think you can keep having eastern states and including SA host stuff, i.e. opening round, gather round,
lift golf,
grand final. Currently going. No Aussies are really going that great, which is a bummer. But I don't think you're going to please everybody.
Yep. It'll be... I mean, the other thing is Victoria obviously brings with it all the eyeballs and everything of the 6 million people and everything that lives in Melbourne. But I'd love to see a South Australia WA game.
Oh, absolutely.
If South Australia get the chance to pull on the jumper at some stage. But
one thing that might change, Corbin, I've spoken, as I'm sure you have, but I've spoken to some senior footy people in Melbourne who, again, really were like, oh, who cares? And I I don't agree with them, but I accept that argument. But because, and I look up and down the broadcast boxes, and many of the heavy hitters have made their way over here, and they will have seen this and experienced it.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to poo-poo it when you've been here and you've actually seen what it means and you've seen the reaction.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting, no disrespect to our friends in Victoria, but if you're sitting in the lounge room watching it, it's much easier to go, no.
Yeah.
We know WA's a bit different. But if you've actually come along here,
100%.
which they have, all the big dogs are here, including yourself, then we know, like, they will go back home and they will tell everybody, look, you know, that was actually really good.
Yeah, you can't help but feel walking to the ground today that, you know, that it was a big game feel about it, which to think considering
for February, big game feel.
For the middle of February, we haven't seen a game since the end of last year. The local paper had, you know, a lift out today. There was multiple pages of coverage, and it felt like a big time event, as it was. And as it deserved to be, and I felt like that did the whole Origin concept as justice as what we'd hoped for at this stage of the year.
The temperature did the right thing. 31 degrees at the bounce, 24 degrees by the time we hit 6:30.
Yep.
But 31 degrees, we play games in March at 30 degrees.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it wasn't 35 degrees at the bounce, but that's what West Coast and Freo and whoever's unfortunate enough to drag them for the first 5 weeks of the season. That's what they have to deal with. So it's not beyond the realms of what footballers have to do.
The start of the season's only around the corner, so really fast forward 2 weeks and the premiership season will be underway with opening round, and of course you'll be able to hear it all here on ABC Sport. The Vicks by 24 points. Lockie Ash wins the E.J. Whitten medal and Jesse Hogan wins the Graham Moss medal. Thank you to you, Clint Wheeldon. Thank you, Sharad Wellingham. Thank you, Shane Woden. All these SWs in the box sort of catching me up. To Mitch Turner downstairs, to Rachel on socials, to Akash for putting together all our pre-game and his hard work as our producer tonight, to Adrian, of course, on the buttons, and to Tristan for his help throughout the night, and, of course, to Craig Davis back in the studio. We're one game in. The footy's back. Origin's back in 2026. Victoria by 24. Good night.